freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Are you ready to show off that confident, radiant smile you've always dreamed of? Well, here at Knoxville Smiles, we're ready to turn your dream into a reality. At Knoxville Smiles, we're more than just a dental practice. We're your partners in achieving optimum oral health. From routine cleanings and checkups to advanced cosmetics and restorative procedures, we offer a wide range of services in an environment that makes every visit a positive and comfortable experience. At Knoxville Smiles, it's about more than just treatments. We're focused on creating a welcoming environment where you feel like family. Our state-of-the-art facilities are designed with your comfort in mind, and our friendly staff is always ready to address your questions and concerns. Don't wait any longer to achieve a beautiful smile you deserve. Schedule your appointment at Knoxville Smiles today and take that first step towards a healthier, happier you. Call us at 865-539-1776 to book your appointment today, or just visit our website at knoxvillesmiles.com.
Good morning, Fan Run Nation. Happy hump day to y'all. Now we roll downhill to another weekend and just that much closer to football season. So, football, Tennessee football. You know, it occurred to me that the boys have been practicing for 2 weeks now, and pretty much all of us have been focusing our discussions on the questions at quarterback, or will Boo Carter even be a part of this team, or maybe the lack of depth in the wide receiver room. But you know what? There are areas where this team does, in fact, have some depth. That would be the running back room, the tight end room. Hell, we're cautiously optimistic about the offensive line. We'll make today's conversation about what appears to be our strengths on this team, besides the defense. We'll discuss that in hour one. Then in hour two, we'll get some added perspective on that running back rotation that should have us feeling good about the run game when we're joined by Ryan Sylvia of Rocky Top Insider. And in hour three, we'll check in with our good friend Jake Crain of Crain & Company to talk about college football, the NFL, John Mateer's gambling addiction. Maybe that's not exactly real, but we're going to talk about Mateer, I'm sure. The impact of Taylor Swift on sports podcasts, you name it, we'll cover it with Jake. Oh, and sounds like the Vols will officially have a new uniform and apparel partner in a matter of hours. Yay. You can bet we're talking about that too. It's all coming your way on a midweek edition of Under Review, starting right now.
From the studios of Fox Sports Knoxville, it's time for Under Review with Bob Baskerville on Fan Run Radio.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Wednesday. It is raining like crazy right now. We can hear it. Even on the inside, we can hear it. It's okay. We're safe and sound here. Hope you are too. We are only 17 days till football time in Tennessee. 10 days until week 0. And only 22 days, essentially about 3 weeks till regular season NFL football commences. The waiting's the hardest part. Tom Petty used to sing that. Rest in peace. But each day goes by and we're getting there. And you're doing it with us, and we appreciate it. We are coming to you live from the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios of Fan Run Radio. This is Under Review. I'm your host, Bob Baskerville, joined as always by Sam Beard. In the production booth, we have Brett Hollander and Garrett Armbrust today filling in. We appreciate them being here. Appreciate you being a listener and spending time with us, however you choose to do that, whether it's on the radio, 1340 on the AM dial, 105.7 on the FM dial. Maybe you stream us live on your desktop or laptop. Compliments of fanrunradio.com. Maybe you use your mobile device, stream us that way using the free Fan Run mobile app. Maybe a podcast. That's cool. You can consume us that way too. We are wherever you listen to your podcasts. And then there's video. Fan Run TV on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Facebook. Over on X. at Fox Sports Knox. Moral of the story, however you support the brand, consume our media, means a lot. We love what we do. We work hard at it and hope you appreciate it. We think you do, and we appreciate you. You can also be a part of the program on a live basis. You can call or text us at area code 865-966-3435. That's 966-3435. Like I said earlier, you can also interact with us on X at Fox Sports Knox as well. Got some things to talk about today, guys. We're, again, kind of playing the waiting game for football to begin. Practice will get a little choppier to get some direction on because they've closed down practice to cameras now. So it's going to be behind closed doors probably all the way till the very end of the preseason, until that first game against Syracuse. But we're going to do our best. We're going to do our best to discern things to be keeping an eye on, things to pay attention to. And there's a lot of other things materializing as we draw closer and closer to college football, NFL football, just football in general, like I said in the open. We're excited about that. Before we get underway today, let's say hello to the rest of the gang. Sam, you made it in just in time before
no,
the hellstorm hit. I mean, it sounds wicked out there now.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad driving in. Was just kind of sprinkling on my way. I had a peanut butter bagel on the way in, and then I dropped some peanut butter on my shirt. So luckily I live close enough, and it was early enough in my commute over to where I was like, all right, this is just a glob of peanut butter sitting on my shirt, so I'm gonna go and change shirts real quick. So I did that, and then was kind of cutting it close on the way in here. But yeah, the rain. The sky just dropped out. You can see it. You can look out of the window here, and it's just feels like it's 3 a.m. outside right now, basically. But I like a good rainstorm, so I'm feeling good this morning. Didn't get into a whole lot yesterday. Watched this really strange movie last night, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. Have you ever seen that?
No. I think I've heard of it, but I have not seen it.
It's about this guy who basically created it was his dream to create like a TV show. So he created this dating show, but then he was also a CIA operative and was like a contract killer, basically.
Wow.
And so he would like his show got onto like a big network. I believe it was like ABC, and then they wanted him to like make it a little bit more entertaining. And then the CIA takes him aside and they're like, hey man, we've got this guy that we need you to kill in like Germany. So it then turns into like an international dating show where the winners of the show go out to Germany and do a little vacation together. But this guy's really just out there just murdering people. Kind of a strange movie, but it was honestly it piqued my interest a little bit. But you couldn't really tell if it was. This is a real life story, but nobody's like confirmed or denied if he was actually a contract killer as well.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It wasn't too bad.
I did not watch Hard Knocks.
I watched the first episode of Hard Knocks, but it was before, 9 p.m. or whatever. Yeah. And then I was watching that movie, so I didn't get to the second episode.
I did not watch episode 2. The reason why, I'll catch it, I'm sure tonight maybe, but I kind of got drawn in. I'd seen the promos, and we were talking to Bubba from Talk Sports right before we went on the air, and he was not familiar with it at all. But I watched on FX Alien Earth, which is it's a TV companion show to the Alien movies, and if you've seen those. If you know, you know, because the TV show did not disappoint. It was a 90-minute first episode. The guy that's behind it is Noah Hawley, who did the TV adaptation of Fargo for FX as well. But it takes place in like 2120, and it's if you've watched the Alien movies, you would not be disappointed watching this because all tied to this weather. It sounds like the app went down too. So, get it done, man. Fix it right now. No, it sounds there's Ryan's coming in right now. So, but Garrett, you doing all right?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it's a lightning storm over here right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. So, yeah, you keep efforting that. By the way, today, so my daughter started school today. I think she's the last one in Knox County. They were the last school to, and they've already started school for most of the classes, but she's a senior. So they held them off until today. So, but she had a super early start too. I mean, it was like, she was up at like 5:30 because they had like a welcome breakfast or something at the
What
school.
time do their classes start?
Start 8:20. But she needed to be there at like 7-ish for the breakfast deal. I told her, because she was, totally doing the eye roll and everything because she'd been staying up late forever. And I was like, look, you're running it back one more time. All these things you're doing is the last time you have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
My high school started at like 7:15.
yeah, some of them do. Some of them around here.
I don't understand how I really was just like how that wasn't a big deal to me in high school. Just knowing that I had to be on the road, early enough for that.
Yeah, so they start, like I said, 8:20, and then this didn't exist for me, and I would have killed for it, even though it was only an additional 20 minutes. But today, because it was day one, they didn't do it. But starting next Wednesday, they do late start Wednesdays.
They had it today.
Did they?
Yeah, 8:50.
Yeah, it's like 8:40 or 8:45.
We had a late start Monday. That was
That would
like,
probably be better.
that's
yeah,
fantastic.
it was fantastic. It was fantastic. It wasn't every single Monday. I feel like it was like once a month maybe or something like that. But it
just
felt
seems
good.
weird to do for 20 minutes though. That's kind of
Yeah,
It makes a difference, Brett.
well for the kids, but I'm just like I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but I'm happy for her that this morning, because my wife took her in, and my wife was also on the hook to bring like ice and some other stuff for this breakfast. So thankfully the rain, when we were waking up, the rain, it was pouring, not too different than what we just heard. I was like, oh man, that's going to be tough, like walking in, lugging all that stuff in. But then the rain stopped for a while, but now it's back. Our yards can use it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
It's been so dry for weeks. But now they say sound is back on YouTube. We're hearing from our listeners. So that's awesome. Good work, guys. Thank you. I was trying to think of anything else. It was unbelievable.
Pressure's a privilege. We always hear it from GP.
And one of those guys, I think, this was like his third attempt to get in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he's gotten worse each time.
Well, he was saying what? He was driving home from work. That's a game you got to pull over. You got to.
Yeah. It's got to be locked in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because it's easy for those to kind of slip your mind if you're doing something else.
Right. No, that's right. That's right.
We'll see what they do with you, Bob. Maybe just like an honorary trophy at the end of the year. If
I don't
need
anything. I don't need anything. It was a privilege to play the game. That's my new position on this.
Bob just wants a little pat on the back from Russell.
Yeah, be nice. Be nice, but that's whatever. You guys just do whatever. That's fine. So as I said in the open, we're going to talk a little bit today about fall football, of course. But I'm going to try to put I don't want to be a sheep, but I want to put maybe a more positive spin on some things.
There we go.
We got some things to look at, right? We got some things to look at that we could view as strengths. Why not? Our coaches feel that way. our players feel that way. Why can't we feel that way? Instead of worrying about who's going to be the quarterback and who's going to catch the ball. And
seems important in football, though, Bob.
What's that?
Quarterbacks and who's going to catch it.
Oh, it is. It is.
Maybe the most important.
I'm just getting to the point where it's like we'll learn soon enough now who's going to be the guys. Whether they're good or not, time will tell. But we're gonna talk a little bit about some of the skill positions where I think we're in good shape, and it's based on we're seeing just the way the media covered it yesterday with Darrell Sims. There's momentum in that topic, so we're going to talk about that. Ryan Sylvia, who was one of the guys covering it from Rocky Top Insider, he will join us in hour 2 to talk about it a little bit. We're also going to we'll obviously in the coming days be previewing some of the big college football games, but USA Today put together their list of it's kind of like Kelly Ford's watchability list, almost a variation of it for week 1 in college football. Of course we know Ohio State and Texas. We know LSU and Clemson. There's some other good games. I mean, intriguing ones with storylines to pay attention to. And we'll talk about that too. We got Jake Crain joining us in hour 3. Like I said, sounds to me like there's going to be an announcement, could be as soon as later today, about what we're going to be wearing. The players, maybe the fans in the coming years when it comes to our Vols. Some people, speaking of Russell ain't gonna like it.
Yeah, I know that we like breaking news happening on our shows and stuff like that, but I do kind of want this news to break on the drive so Russell can have a meltdown live on air.
Yes, it's going to be glorious. Mm-hmm. It's going to be glorious. So we're going to talk about all that stuff. We're going to take our first time out. When we return, though, topic A today: Tennessee football. What's going right? It's going to be Positivity Wednesday on this show. What's going right? Let's see how long we can go before we get into a rabbit hole of something that we think is going to be a problem. We'll do all that right after this. Stick around. You're listening to Under Review on Fan Run Radio.
For the fans, by the fans. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Believe in family. Believe in your fellow man. Believe in honesty and an honest day's work. We do. We're Farm Bureau Insurance. And we don't just believe in Tennessee. We believe in Tennesseans. Farm Bureau Insurance, Tennessee's insurance company.
This is Baseball VFL Cody Brown. Farm Bureau Insurance is the official insurance for Tennesseans. Believe in me for all of your insurance needs. Give me a call at 865-992-3871.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game. Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
For over 3 years, Crumble Cookies has served the Knoxville area, from Clinton Highway to Parkside Drive. Even our friends out in Maryville have reached you, our fans, with the best cookies in the game. This fall, Crumble is gearing up for yet another fantastic season. Whether you're tailgating or looking for a pick-me-up after getting the kids from school, Crumble has you covered. Download the Crumble app to check out this week's rewards and features. And stop on by. Tell them Fan Run sent you, but don't miss the cookies.
Sick of Googling the best bets for tonight and coming up short? Tap into the slate presented by VIP Play, East Tennessee's only on-air gambling show. I'm William Pattison, and every weekday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern, I'm giving you sharp analysis, trends, and picks for college football, the NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. If it's on the books, we've got you covered. It's the slate presented by VIP Play, weekdays at 6 on Fan Run Radio.
Hey, Pack Rat. Yeah, you. Are you moving cross country and you just don't know who to call? Call us right now. Listen, you've probably seen one of our containers in your neighborhood, but did you know that we can help you move anywhere in the United States? It's real simple. We'll drop a container off at the location you tell us to bring it to. You pack up your valuable possessions at your leisure. They stay safe right in your home. And when you're ready, call us. We'll come and pick up the container and give you a scheduled date of when your furniture and the other possessions will be at your new home. So if you're moving across country or across town, be a Pack Rat. Join the Pack Rat family. Call Pack Rat right now for your free quote. See y'all later, Pack Rats.
Call 800-965-1298. 800-965-1298. 800-965-1298. That's 800-965-1298.
Top K for today, Tennessee football. We use this bump music sometimes. It wasn't that one from Tom Petty, but one of the songs we have, Give Us Something to Believe In. That's what we need right now. Like I said in the open, we've spent a lot of time since camp opened 2 weeks ago talking about who's going to be the quarterback. Is it Joey? Is it Jake? Is it George? And then the whole Boo Carter saga between Boo's buffoonery and then Mama Carter lately. A little bit exhausting. And then don't get us started on the receivers because it feels like half of them are hurt. Almost all of them are inexperienced, at least at the college level. So what are we going to do? The answer is we don't know. Those are the things that are still up in the air. That said, there are some areas, and I don't want to make it sound like we haven't talked about them at all, but they certainly haven't gotten too much of our attention in the last 2 weeks. And there are areas that we think could be areas of strength. The defense is almost exempt from this conversation right now because our defense is what carried us last year for the most part, and it was elite. And I think it could be very, very good again, right? Sam, you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to say that it's going to be a better unit than last year, but I'm not going to. I'm very confident that it's not going to take a huge step off or drop off, I should say. And yeah, there's still plenty of talent on this defense, and there's a lot of young talent as well that's been very highly rated guys that it's their time to kind of come in here and step up now. So yeah, I think you just got to trust a lot of really good coaches on this defensive staff to be able to kind of hand the reins off to some of those young guys now.
Yeah, agreed. So defense won't even be part of that discussion today. We'll certainly spend time with each passing day as we get closer to the season starting, all of that. Defense will get some of our mind share. But today, what I wanted to focus on were a couple of the skill position areas. And there are things we can feel positive about. First off, Darrell Sims spoke to the media yesterday and had a lot of good things to say about the running back room. For us, it sounds like could be a three-headed monster. Last year it was Dylan Sampson with some Deshaun Bishop and a little Cam Selden and a little Peyton Lewis sprinkled in for good measure. But it was, by and large, it was Sampson's seat, basically. We don't have a Dylan Sampson this year, at least at first blush. These guys haven't had enough reps to really base that kind of judgment. But I would pose this question to you, Sam, and that is, first of all, you've always brought this up. In the Josh Heupel era, I think we get blinded a little bit by the the 2022 team and just the off the hook offensive machine that was, throwing the ball around, et cetera. It still had a really good running game. But in all 4 of his years here, this team has averaged 200 yards per game rushing. That has never changed. And I think about the 2 running backs that have been the marquee guys the last 2 years that have preceded whatever we're going to have this year. Jalen Wright, and then that was 2 seasons ago, and then last season, Dylan Sampson. Those guys had run in their previous season before they broke out, but it was the same kind of deal, right? I mean, they didn't have near the volume that they had in their season where they just absolutely torched the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, this is the Hypo offense is predicated on the run game, and you've been extremely effective at being able to just be one of the better teams in the conference in terms of that run game. And so it's not something that I have really ever worried about in the Hypo tenure, I guess, of dropping off. And I just think it's a group that this year, you might not have the star power that Dylan Sampson was last year. It'll be very interesting to kind of see the rotation for this year. And, we got a real heavy dose of Dylan Sampson last year. Was that because Dylan Sampson was just that good of a college player, or is it now going to be kind of the philosophy of Darrell Sims to kind of say, hey, let's go throughout fall camp and let's have a healthy competition between 3 really strong running backs that we know we feel good about, and Deshaun Bishop, Peyton Lewis and Star Thomas. And then, whoever wins that battle in camp, that guy's going to get the majority of the reps there. I don't know how that one's going to work, but I think, they outlined it yesterday. It's a good problem to have, and I think you've got some really, really good guys in that room. I expect a lot from Deshaun Bishop this year. He spoke very highly of Peyton Lewis yesterday, and then Star Thomas, just a guy that's a veteran and is proven to do it at the power level so far.
Yeah, I've seen a couple images, maybe listeners you have too. Sam, I'm sure you have. Deshaun Bishop looks like a superhero right now. I mean, dude is cut up for sure. So he's in great playing shape. Peyton Lewis, another stud too. And he's a guy who he understands the gravity of the situation. You heard or read his quote maybe yesterday where he said, again, I'm at a program where we're being preceded by 2 all SEC running backs. And he said, why not us? Why not me? And it's like, that's the mentality we want. And then Star Thomas, I'm kind of intrigued by his versatility too, because of what he did at Duke. He also caught balls out of the backfield and was relatively productive in that short pass game. I think it's fair to say, it's kind of like what we were saying about the defense too. I don't think that this running back room necessarily exceeds what we had, namely because of Dylan Sampson last year. I think they could be very, very productive though in aggregate, maybe similar numbers to what we saw from that was predominantly Dylan Sampson. So it's the other question I'd pose to the room too, for you and for Garrett and for Brett, anybody, is we always talk about tight ends, which we're going to get to in a minute because the tight end room looks very, very solid too. So we've been saying this for weeks already, like, hey man, get comfy with 12 personnel because it worked last year, might be what we need to lean on this year. Do we ever think we could see a scenario where, I'm just assuming it's a 1 running back system. Do we think this is just us riffing here, but do we think there's any possibility they could go, with some sort of 2-back set?
You're saying like you think it's going to be a 1-man rotate, like it's going to be one guy separates himself in terms of the running back rotation?
I'm saying they could all get run. I don't question that, but it feels to me like most of the time we would see predominantly 1 running back in the backfield.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
But could we see a 2-back set?
I don't know. I mean, I do feel like you haven't exactly seen a lot of that so far in the Josh Heupel offense. So I feel like it maybe is a new wrinkle that they're thinking of, and maybe that's some of the stuff that Joey Halsley and Seth Luttrell are kind of coming up with this offseason. I do think it's an interesting question because you do have you've got a lot of like really good skill sets that I think are complementary of each other. And Bishop just kind of one of those guys that you feel like falls for like 4 to 5 yards. And then Peyton Lewis, a guy that was a track star in high school, but he's put on a lot of really good weight and looks good. And then Star Thomas, a guy that just has that versatility. I'm sure it's a thought in the back of their mind, if at least not something they're already executing on.
Yeah, and the minute I pose that question, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, but again, we're talking about a tight end room that's very, very strong too. And do you want those guys to kind of help with the blocking assignments versus a second running back or whatever? But I'm just trying to think of different wrinkles and, again, playing to the strengths. But I'm not an offensive coordinator. Guys in the production booth, any thoughts on this?
I mean, I just think using Star Thomas in the way of like out of the backfield where he can catch passes, I feel like we haven't really seen that lately from a lot of running backs. I think he's had over like 500 career receiving yards. I think that that's something that you can, obviously you see the tight ends kind of go for those short passes, but I mean, that seems like a free 5 or 6 yards if you kind of hide it in a look and get him the ball and make him get a play, and maybe he gets an explosive play out of it. But that just seems like a play that I hope they run a lot this year, because based on his stats, he does really good at that.
Brett, your thoughts?
Yeah, just to your 2 running back thing. I mean, I feel like we always we tend to use the tight ends in that H-back or whatever a lot of times in the Heupel offense, which can be out of the backfield, and he provides a lead blocker at times and things like that. So maybe not so much that. Maybe if you have the boo wrinkle, if you want to use him in a decoy or some kind of that, maybe you line up him in the backfield with another guy. But for the most part, I think Heupel's offense is what Heupel's offense is. It doesn't change a whole lot. And we're hoping maybe it will. Housley said it might. So I think it's just a wait and see at this point. But I really don't know what this offense is going to ultimately be like for most of the season.
And it puts, we have talked a little bit about the offensive line, right? Because we're putting a lot of emphasis on this. We have a listener who wrote in on X saying Lewis, Starr, and Bishop will be a strong rotation, and wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee leads the SEC in rushing this season. I think it's a bold statement. I'm not saying it's impossible, but boy, that's my point. Then it's like we have cautious optimism about this offensive line, right? But that means they really do have to take it to the next level. And, we're hearing some of that. We're hearing some of that development with Lance Hurd, right? We're hearing, David Sanders fits the bill. He's every bit of a 5-star. That's a key component to this as well, right?
I'm not cautiously optimistic. I think I'm just optimistic about this offensive line, to be honest with you. I just think, you've got 2 5-star tackles on either end now. I feel like what you brought in guard-wise, of whether it's Pendleton and Mo, or just Pendleton goes into center and you trust the development of one of those young guards like a Sham Umarov or someone like that. I've got high hopes for what this offensive line can turn into. I know that we haven't exactly seen them out on the field too much, but I think on paper it's a group that can be really good. And so I think in turn that'll churn out a really productive running back room. And I don't know about leading the SEC, but I'm very confident that Tennessee is going to be up there, near the top again, as they always normally are under Josh Heupel. I just think you've got a really strong 3-man rotation, and they're definitely going to use that to their advantage for sure. And I think primarily too, a lot at the start of the year when I'm sure you're kind of getting your quarterback's feet wet a little bit.
Yeah, and it feels like, just to round this out too, again, tight ends, Kitzelman, Ethan Davis. Sounds like Bram looks good too. I mean, these are the things that I feel like if we're starting to come around and see it, then the coaching staff is probably building things accordingly. That's why we'd love to see what could be going on in practice, but we won't see that till we get to game time. But if you're thinking about a tight end that you would want to see have a kind of a glow up season, not necessarily who would get it, but who you would want to get it, where do you net out here? For me, it's Davis. There's been so much promise with him. Kitzelman's obviously solid, but Sam, where do you stand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ethan Davis would be kind of the easy answer, and rightfully so. I mean, he's just a guy that his frame, when you look at him, just what he's kind of built his body into throughout his time here at Tennessee, has been a guy that, he on paper is someone that you think should be a force in the SEC. And Yeah, I mean, I just have high expectations for Kitzelman, and we know what he's going to be able to do and what he's kind of providing. Taking that next step is also just kind of a leader in that locker room too. So yeah, like I have expectations for Kitzelman, but if you can kind of get a 1-2 punch there in that tight end room with Ethan Davis, I think that opens up a lot of possibilities. And someone for as fast as he is too, with that kind of frame, like you talk about some concerns in the wide receiver room. We've seen it with other teams before. Like you have a nice tight end that can almost kind of provide a sense of a guy that's a new body in that wide receiver room, if you will. So you've seen how much the tight ends have started to get implemented over the last few years in this offense. You'd hope that Ethan Davis can kind of be a reason why that's another thing this year.
Garrett, your thoughts on tight end?
Yeah, I mean, you know what you're going to get from Kitzelman. I think, Davis obviously has a very high ceiling. I think Jack Van Dorsalier is another name to watch over the next couple seasons. I don't know that he's going to make that much of an impact this season, but I think over the next couple seasons, I think when his career's, said and done here, I think you're going to see him that he was a really good tight end, and I think it's going to be, continuous development there. And I mean, this is the deepest the tight end room's been since I can remember. And obviously, like we said, when we're running 12 personnel and you don't have as deep as wide receiver room as usual, that's a position group that's going to have to step up. And it's one of those position groups that you feel confident in.
Yeah, I just sit here and think, how many times have we had conversations with guests on the show or conversations amongst ourselves when we all recognize that the way you win in college football, now Ohio State last year had kind of every dimension covered, but first and foremost, you got to win in the trenches, right? That's what everybody, you hear it. It's kind of a tried and true point of view on things. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what we're talking about here today. It's like you need weapons in other areas to kind of get to that next level. Last year, it felt like we were a level below when we got to Columbus. All right. And so we know there's things to work on, but I just feel like, again, this is one of those where maybe all is not lost, because if you think about the first step is to kind of have a stronghold in the trenches. Well, we're talking offensive line. We're talking the running game, because the offensive line, if it's good, it begets the running game. And then also your tight ends, like Garrett just said, it's as deep as we've seen it, and there's talent there. So why not use it? And then, also leverage them for, helping kind of inhibit that running game too. Also. So I think that I look at it that way. And I don't want to get too sheepy here, but it's like, those are the moments where I think about, if we can have a quarterback who, doesn't even, again, what we have to remember last year with Nico was he had a couple flashes during the season, but he was relatively unspectacular most of the season, right? Definitely in the SEC.
Yeah,
there was no doubt. So, again, it's one of those deals like whoever gets the keys to the car at quarterback, we're assuming it's Joey Aguilar. Man, just play within yourself. I really believe that's what Heupel's concept will be here. Like, we can open it up over time, but you don't have to come out and be, like young Brett Favre or something, right? You don't have to be a gunslinger. Because that's what we all talked about that with Aguilar when he came in at first. Like, that's his reputation, man. He slings it around. This is going to be fun, man. And Sam, I remember Sam saying it. It's like doing that in the Sun Belt versus the SEC is a very, very different deal. The SEC will figure you out probably within one game. It won't even take multiple games. So
you're going to have better protection and better weapons too. So just,
true.
Yeah, don't try and do anything that's kind of outside of yourself. They trust who you are as a player if you've gone out and won that starting job. So just kind of, go out there and rip it, and don't try and do too much out there, because we've got people around you that, can help you out.
There, I feel better.
We're right there, Bob.
10-2. I've just totally flipped my expectations. Brett's smiling.
I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. I don't want to be negative. I don't want to rain on y'all's parade. It's raining enough outside.
Yeah.
Wow for Brett.
We're just going to, optimism.
Not the only one.
Optimism Wednesday. I appreciate you keeping it on under wraps, man. I know it's hard. It's a hard one.
It is. I got my mic control over here.
Just think, it could be worse. We could have Jackson Arnold, right?
That is true. That is very true.
I don't know, Garrett, if you know, but Brett is he is a hardcore Jackson Arnold hater.
There's no trust in him.
He's not a good quarterback. I mean, I don't know the guy personally say I hate him, but I just don't think he's a good quarterback.
That's all right. We get
Good luck, you. On the golf course quicker than you think.
Yeah. All right. Let's hit a break. When we return, we're going to continue on this conversation, by the way, at the top of hour 2 when Ryan Sylvia from Rocky Top Insider joins us. He actually wrote a couple pieces, some of it about the running back room, so it'll be good to get his perspective on things. But when we return, let's do a little spot check on how we're feeling about Adidas versus Nike, because it's been, I don't think there's any shock to this. We've been feeling like this is kind of inevitable. The fact that they put it out there in the system so much, sounds like it's coming to roost here pretty quickly and pretty soon. So let's talk about that. I know people have all sorts of points of view on it. Let us know if you're out there listening, if you want to hit us up on the text box or on the chat line on Fan Run TV, or call us either way, because yeah, I saw somebody on the chat on Fan Run TV said, this is why I don't buy player jerseys, college or pro. And then he said, I just bought new Nike Vols shoes. There goes the gear. It's not happening this year, right? It
would start for next year.
So,
and I mean, like, hey,
yeah,
nobody's gonna call you out for having Nike gear when we're an Adidas school.
Yeah, get your mileage out of it. Yeah. Why not? All right, quick timeout. We'll be right back to talk more. Stick around. It's under review on Fan Run Radio.
Big Orange Country's home for sports. This is Fan Run Radio.
Ready to launch your career? Axle Logistics is a leading third-party logistics company where excellence is an energy. With an award-winning culture, Axle proves that positive outcomes come from a positive environment and a work hard, play hard mentality. At Axle, the drive for success is infectious. And with an uncapped commission structure, hard work isn't just noticed, it's rewarded. For those with big goals and even bigger dreams, Axle Logistics is the place to start your career.
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-8899-789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet. Blackford Veterinary Surgery Referral specializes in surgeries not regularly performed by your pet's general veterinarian. They're currently accepting referrals from vets all across the country. With their newly renovated state-of-the-art surgery center and highly trained staff, clients can rely on professional and thorough care. If your vet says that your pet needs surgery or rehab, ask for a referral to Blackford Vet and let them get your best friend back on its feet. Located conveniently in West Knoxville. For more information, visit blackfordvetsurgery.com.
Citizens National Bank.
We make it easy to save money. Get access to thousands of discounts on shopping, dining, and travel with the C&B Plus Perks account. It's a powerful new way to save money with roadside assistance, cell phone protection, identity theft protection, and credit monitoring. Banking at C&B has its perks. Call or stop by a branch for more details.
Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Member FDIC.
Hey Knoxville, Surfside iced tea and vodka made with real brewed tea is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, zero carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy responsibly.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. Final segment, hour one. A couple comments on the chat on Fan Run TV. Let's just hope that the quarterback and the wide receivers can keep up and not overuse the running backs. Injuries to any of them without that help would be disastrous. And then also said, obviously, the O-line has to be healthy. So, Buck, come on, man. Get on the positivity train.
That's Buck from yesterday. Come on, Buck. I need a little more positivity.
That's right. Come on.
Is Buck me?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm over here just secretly typing.
Yeah, Brett's like, who is this Buck guy? I'd like to meet him. We're kindred spirits. We get it. I mean, yeah, those are the variables. That was my point. It feels like that's mostly occupied all of our conversation the past 2 weeks. It's like we're not in bad shape. As I was saying, after I watched that episode, next to last episode of SEC Any Given Saturday, and there are definitely some programs with some problems, and that ain't us. We got challenges. I wouldn't say they're problems yet. We're not at that stage. Mississippi State. Kind of feel bad for Lebby after I watch this, because we've been talking about how it humanizes kind of the coaches, and you come away with, that's not a bad guy, and it's like there's a real good chance that guy's going to be unemployed.
Potentially. I feel like they'll give him a little bit of time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only going into his second year.
Seems like his guys are rallying around him.
I mean, they couldn't have been put in a worse spot. I mean, your coach passes away. I mean, you can't
true.
really.
You transition into like a defensive-minded guy from that. Now you're kind of switching back into the mindset of what Mike Leach was doing a little bit.
I'll tell you who he was a nice quarterback, man. And I think he isn't he going to LSU, Van Buren?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's at LSU.
They were showing some highlights, when they were playing and in the Egg Bowl, and it was like, man, he threw some picks, but still, he's like mobile quarterback, and he didn't look too bad against us, as I recall.
Yeah, he did pretty solid against us.
Yeah,
I don't understand why he went there. He could have started at, I feel like, a good amount of schools.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna be the backup to Nussmeier and never see the field now.
That's right.
Remember that trade SEC Mike had him coming here.
Mm-hmm.
We said we'd take him.
I didn't know that, really.
I was bought out that day, Sam.
Yeah.
When we were talking about that trade. The
hypothetical. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Jermod McCoy for
Chapin, Nick Anderson. Was it Nick Anderson, the receiver?
It was Nick Anderson and Van Buren, not Chapin.
Oh, Van Buren. Yeah. Van Buren.
Yeah. Boy, I'd take that trade. Probably.
And like a cornerback too.
Yeah.
One of their younger corners.
That's a good one.
I feel like Van Buren can be the starter there next year when Nussmeier leaves.
Yeah, I don't know.
Give him a year in the system type of thing. He probably got a crazy NIL deal. He's like, I can make $1 million to sit on the bench this year. Sure.
I thought he was gonna be the starter last week when all those Twitter rumors were out that he Nuss like tore his ACL, and then they were like, "Nah, those aren't true." I was like, "All right, good."
Yeah. Speaking of that SEC Any Given Saturday, the teams they really focused on were Mississippi State and Texas A&M. You know what else they have in common? They're both Adidas schools. Speaking of Adidas, the scuttle out there is that there should be an announcement coming this afternoon that University of Tennessee will be partnering with Adidas. Like we were saying earlier, that'll take effect probably going into next football season, I would think. I don't think it's any time in this upcoming sports cycle. I could be wrong, but We know this is a fire starter, to be sure, with some people. I am not one of them. And I'm not saying I'm an Adidas fan necessarily. I think Adidas is fine. I still firmly believe that the rationale that players are coming to schools because they're a Nike school or an Adidas school and they're preferring a Nike school, that's so 3 or 4 years ago. I think it's a bonus, but I think now it's about how much money you're going to give me. That's really all that matters. Man, how can we not see that given what we're going through right now with Abu Carter, what we went through with Nico? As a matter of fact, Sam Pittman, who might be a rest in peace Sam Pittman as a coach here eventually, I had heard on some podcast where he was saying that he saw 45 of his players earlier this year, kind of kicking off the new season. Not his entire roster, but 45 players. And 42 or 43 of them all brought up the topic of money. That's where we are. So that's why I think this is making a mountain out of a molehill. That's my opinion. Some people would disagree. That's fine too. I just don't agree with their perspective. Sam, where do you net on this?
I'm with you. I think it's all a money play. We've clearly seen that Danny's going to make some decisions for us that's going to kind of maximize revenue for the school and everything like that. And it's going to continue to move the school forward in ways that he believes is going to be, a positive experience for the teams, positive experience for the athletic department in terms of making some money. And that in turn will hopefully be a positive experience for the fans and everything like that. And I don't know. I know there is still probably a good portion of kids out there that are just, they're Nike guys through and through. But if you're making your decision for, where you want to go play college football based on the brand of stuff that you're wearing, like, I don't know if you're in it for the right reasons, to be quite honest with you. So I don't even know if I want you on my football team at that point.
Yeah.
There's going to be 4- and 5-star talent out there that's perfectly fine with wearing some Adidas.
Yeah. No, I agree with all of it. Garrett, your thoughts on it?
Say that I don't think Nike looks better, but like at the same time, if you're getting more money, why would you not go with Adidas? I would wear Reebok if we're getting way more NIL money. Like, that's just the most thing that makes sense to your athletic department, to take what gives you the most money. And these aren't like the 2010 Adidas jerseys. Like, if you look at the teams that have Adidas jerseys now, like, they're not that much worse than Nike. Like, they look nice, like they're fine, like they'll be a little different, but it's not like they're going to change our color scheme or anything. Like, I don't think it's going to be that like much of a different jersey.
Yeah, that's what I was, as I was watching that SEC documentary, it's like, actually, I kind of liked Mississippi State's uniforms, to be honest with you. I feel like we have talked about this maybe without you on the show, Garrett, but I think a lot of people also are drawing comparisons to what the Adidas garb looked like 10 plus years ago or whatever. And it was bad. By and large, even, people who had affiliation with Adidas would tell you that it was just not great stuff. I think it looks different now, and it's not spectacular, right? But I think it's fine, but in comparison to where it was, I think it's night and day. Sam went so far as to say baseball uniforms in particular, you were like, kind of like
they're going to look better.
Yeah.
Kind of like what I saw.
Well, Tennessee is probably going to be one of your flagship universities, so they might kind of let you do more with like your jerseys, and do different designs and stuff for certain games and stuff. So I think that would be cool if you're one. Like, Nebraska's a team, obviously, that's Adidas. They're kind of like us, very historic football team. And their jerseys look fine. They look like they've always looked. Like, as long as you don't mess with anything, I don't think the fans really care.
Right. We use the example of Auburn too, who's making the switch from Under Armour to Nike, and it's like their uniform's going to look exactly the same.
Yeah,
that's all. And but if they can innovate in some other areas, like Sam was saying, where baseball, they could stand to be better looking uniforms. I just and here's the thing, man. The whole notion is if we stay with Nike, we're like in their pecking order. We're probably not even in the top 10 as far as the treatment, the revenue, everything else that we would get from that. So I get the logic. I understand that, there's more cachet saying you're with Nike. I just don't think it's enough of a determinant now to in the arms race of going and paying players. We need money, and this is going to give us more money. I think that's what's important.
Mm-hmm.
Brett, any thoughts here?
Oh no, I'm as long as it's the right color orange and we're out there playing well. I could care less, to be honest. I think we could be the first of many schools. I know there's a few other schools that are going to be with expiring contracts, and Tennessee could be jumping ahead out of the game again, as we usually are. And Danny's a smart businessman, and as long as it's bringing money to the school, and the rest will take care of itself. And I'll support the Vols no matter what they're wearing, as long as it's not anything other than orange.
Yeah. By the way, Buck commented that he thought his comments were positive. So, and then he said, "I'll wear Walmart gear for $800,000."
Hell yeah, Buck.
And that's why I said, I go, "That a guy, Buck." There we go.
That's our guy right there.
Now Buck's back in the game. I don't think he ever left. We just made it clear.
Misinterpreted.
Yes, exactly. All right, that wraps up hour one of the show. Sounds like the rain subsided a little bit. We're going to be safe, people. We're going to get through it. When we return, we'll continue to talk Tennessee football. Ryan Sylvia, Rocky Top Insider, will join us. He was at practice yesterday, that last one that he could be in attendance at. Get his take on what he saw, his thoughts on the running back room, all of it. Maybe his thoughts on Adidas. We'll see. All of it when we return. Stick around. You're listening to Under Review, and it's Fan Run Radio.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
We really need to get some branded stuff. Shirts, hats, promo items, something professional.
I mean, we could just find a website and order a bunch of it ourselves.
You could, but you're taking a big risk. You don't know the quality, the fit, the timeline. It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah, I guess. But isn't that how everyone does it now?
Not the ones who actually care about how their brand looks. Look, if we're putting our name on it, it needs to be done right. We need SM Athletics.
SM Athletics?
Yeah, they specialize in working with businesses like ours. Apparel, hats, promo gear, but real, customized stuff. They actually care if it turns out right.
Probably a lot better than getting stuck with 100 t-shirts with crooked logos.
Exactly. Plus, they'll walk you through everything. Sizing, colors, material, so it matches the image we're trying to build.
Makes sense. What's the name again?
SM Athletics. Trust me, if you want to look like a real company, not a flea market stand, this is the move. If you're serious about your brand, work with people who are serious about getting it right. SM Athletics.
Barley's has live music on weekends, general team trivia on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., and now live sports trivia courtesy of the Knoxville Trivia Guys every Thursday night upstairs. The game starts at 7 p.m. and is free to play for everyone, so head on down to the Old City and show off your sports knowledge and win gift cards to Barley's. Use those gift cards to buy some delicious food and drinks, and you can take it all in with their wide selection of TVs and indoor projectors. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Are you looking for a treat that will knock it out of the park at the next watch party? Just like your favorite baseball team, Crumble brings the best lineup week to week with an expanded roster that includes key lime pie, strawberry cake, or my personal favorite, Monster featuring M&M candies. Let Crumble treat you to the best cookies in the game. Download the Crumble app and start earning rewards. You can even vote monthly on what flavors you would like to see at any store of your choice. Warmer weather is here, so get to the ballpark, but don't miss the cookies.
Are you ready to show off that confident, radiant smile you've always dreamed of? Well, here at Knoxville Smiles, we're ready to turn your dream into a reality. At Knoxville Smiles, we're more than just a dental practice. We're your partners in achieving optimum oral health. From routine cleanings and checkups to advanced cosmetics and restorative procedures, we offer a wide range of services in an environment that makes every visit a positive and comfortable experience. At Knoxville Smiles, it's about more than just treatments. We're focused on creating a welcoming environment where you feel like family. Our state-of-the-art facilities are designed with your comfort in mind, and our friendly staff is always ready to address your questions and concerns. Don't wait any longer to achieve a beautiful smile you deserve. Schedule your appointment at Knoxville Smiles today and take that first step towards a healthier, happier you. Call us at 865-539-1776 to book your appointment today, or just visit our website at knoxvillesmiles.com.
In a world filled with deadlines and screens, sometimes we forget the simple joys of life, days filled with special moments. At Inward Half, we understand the essence of these moments. Feel the difference between our breathable fabrics and flexible apparel as you disconnect from the hustle and bustle and reconnect with what truly matters. Inward Half, simple luxury for on and off the course.
Hour 2 of Under Review starts now.
Welcome back to the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios of Fox Sports Knoxville, Fan Run Radio. You're listening to Under Review. You got Bob and Sam and Brett, Garrett here on a Wednesday. Feels like it's quieted down outside a little bit. I'm relieved. I didn't want to start seeing water flowing into our studio. That's probably overreacting.
Come on, we're not at the old studio, Bob.
It's true. And what am I doing? It's Positivity Wednesday, right?
You said it.
I did. So
You
here
said
I
it.
am saying I don't want to die in a flood. That's a downer. Let's just go off the air now. Thanks for joining us. It's been fun. Now, let's get back to some Vol conversation. By the way, phone lines are open. Text box is too. You can interact with us that way. Or if you're watching us on Fan Run TV, which we're getting some viewers, that's awesome. We appreciate that. You can chat with us there. But if you use the phone line or the text box line, it's area code 865-966-3435, 966-3435. All right, let's talk to a guy who has been at the practices, those wide open, just open book practices that Tennessee football has had, and they're now done until the season begins. But get his perspective. He dropped some pieces on Rocky Top Insider too. One about the very topic that we spent time in hour 1 talking about, and that's the situation with the running back room. This guy does a great job covering it all. He's also a bit of a golfer too. It's Ryan Sylvia with Rocky Top Insider. Ryan, how are you? And also, did you and Shump still get out there and try to hit it with the sticks today?
Yeah, we got out there. We got about 8.5 holes in, and then it just started pouring. So we got our rain check for the back 9. We'll get out there another time. I did not have a good day, so I was very, very, very okay with postponing the second half and just getting a fresh slate for next time we get out there. But I think Shumper was a little upset because he had a good round going.
When he's playing golf, does Shumper wear a hat or no?
Yeah. He had a College World Series hat from when he was out in Omaha, so
Okay.
he was dressed to the 9.
Okay, because he's been rocking the hair lately, so I thought maybe he wanted to just show that off for anybody who was out there that early a time. What was your tee time, by the way?
We had 7:16 a.m. Out kind of towards Maryville a little bit. It was a haul. It was about a 30-minute drive for me, but we made it.
Sam's a big golfer. Do you like early tee time, Sam?
I do like a good early tee time. It's nice being one of the first people out on the course, I think.
Yeah, and with the rain, whoever 1 or 2 tee times in front of us didn't show up. So we were moving through those front 9, and then, like I said, it started coming down on us. So we had to postpone there for sure.
Yeah. Well, let's talk. The way we framed this show today was we're 2 weeks into fall practice now, and it feels like what's dominated our conversation, at least, and it's probably dominated your guys' news cycle as well, has been the situation of who's going to be QB1 or who is going to step up and kind of be the guy in the wide receiver room, or who's going to step up and say to Boo Carter, knock it off. We need you, and please just play football and tell your mom to put the phone down and all sorts of other things. Meanwhile, we were reminded yesterday of the fact, and it's not to say we haven't talked about it from time to time on the show, but we haven't talked about it enough. And that is the situation with the running back room, which is, we don't at the moment have a blowtorch like Dylan Sampson was last season, but we have 3 really good guys. And I took the tact of let's dwell a little bit on that. Let's talk about what the possibilities are there. The tight end room, which is deep, the offensive line, which we have optimism about because it feels like it could be more stable than what we saw last year. But let's start with the running backs and just get your take in terms of what Darrell Sims had to say. And did it kind of get you as a writer a little more on track of, hey man, there are good things that exist within this program. Let's focus on them.
I think so, because it is easy to get caught up in all the question marks, especially on the offensive side. There's so many questions. Even the offensive line, which I think should be pretty good this year, there's still only one returning starter, and that starter in Lance Hurd wasn't good last year. And he was hurt, and there's a bunch of things that went into that. I think he's going to have a good season this year, but it's still a question on what exactly that production is going to be. Obviously, wide receiver and the quarterback battle, it's a lot of unknowns. The running back room, while there's still some unknowns, I guess, you haven't seen Deshaun Bishop in a huge role yet. You haven't seen Peyton Lewis as a sophomore. Can he take that big step in his second year and then start Thomas as a transfer? So there's still unknowns, but it feels a lot more, you can be a lot more confident that those guys are going to produce at a relatively high level this year. So I think it was nice to hear from Darrell Sims because you can get caught in all those negatives, and he seems really excited about this room. They don't have a Dylan Sampson. They might not even have a Jalen Wright or, one of those top end, give the ball to him and he can take over a game type of back. But at the same time, they might. One of those guys could emerge. I think Peyton Lewis has a chance to be a very productive player as a sophomore. Star Thomas can do a lot of different things. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can also be a great, just, kind of typical running back, give him the ball and let him loose. And then Deshaun Bishop is kind of an old school, hard-nosed, get a few yards. If it's third and short, I think you can go to a guy like Deshaun Bishop and he'll put his head down and, pad +2, they like to say all the time. He'll make some contact and fall forward and get you a couple extra yards. So I think it'll be more of a rotation. Darrell Sims touched on that a little bit because in his first year on the job a year ago, it was the Dylan Sampson show. But you can't blame him for not rotating much when you had a back that was as good as Dylan Sampson was. I'm curious to see if it'll still be like who has the hot hand, who do you like the most? Is it Star Thomas? Does he play most of the snaps? Or if it starts to look like 2023 a little bit where you have that 3-headed monster and they all got their chances and by the end of the game you usually figure out who is the guy to get the ball. Like you think back to the Kentucky game, Dylan Sampson just took over that game by the end. There was games where Jalen Wright easily had the hot hand. You gave him the ball and let him loose. I think that'll probably be what it looks like. That seemed to be kind of what Darrell Sims was dancing around. He didn't want to give a direct answer in terms of what the split on the snaps was going to be, but it kind of felt like, get all 3 of those guys the ball and then kind of as the game progresses, figure out who's that guy that game, who's running the offense the best and kind of ride with them, which right now it could be really any of the 3. It's tough to say exactly who's going to emerge, but it feels like one of them at least will.
I want to get into the hypothetical game a little bit here, Ryan, just a little bit over 2 weeks before kickoff and talking about that running back room. If you had to kind of pick between this year's running back group getting close to kind of matching the production that Dylan Sampson gave us last year as a whole, would you pick that or would you pick Joey Aguilar exceeding what Nico was able to do statistically?
I would go towards the run game. I think it's just going to be so tough for Joey Aguilar to, not that Nico was great last year, right? Like there was a lot left on the table, but just with such a short turnaround, it feels like you just kind of hope he's almost a game manager, which is kind of what Nico was in a lot of ways too. So, I mean, there's definitely a possibility that Joey Aguilar could match the production of Nico or even exceed it. But it feels like a safer bet to me right now that the run game's really solid again. You have to like the offensive line. You have to like what they have on the interior right now. It's all new faces in terms of starters, but they brought in the 2 transfers in Sam Pendleton and Wendell Moy, who they were really high on it and should be starters. And then whether Pendleton gets that job at center and then you figure out what you're doing at the other guard position, or if you slide Pendleton back out to guard and it's William Satterwhite at center, it just feels like a really good combination you have on the interior there to get a push in the run game. And obviously what Josh Heupel's offense does, and using the entire field and making sure the box can't get too stacked. It just really sets up nicely for a good run game. And Peyton Lewis, I get caught up on him a little bit because he's just, Darrell Sims called him a Greek god yesterday, and he looks like he looks like a defensive end or a Leo or something. If you just catch him, jogging from drill to drill or something like that, he is ginormous. He looks like he's bigger than he was a year ago, and that's saying something because he came in just massive. And he's someone that I really have my eye on. That I can't imagine he'll score as many touchdowns as Dylan Sampson or take over games like Dylan Sampson did every single weekend. But I think he could, by the end of the year, really prove to be one of the better backs in the SEC. And then, obviously, he's going to a junior year with a bunch of steam.
We're talking with Ryan Sylvia with Rocky Top Insider, just talking some Tennessee football. One of the things we identified today was, and you've, I'm sure, heard it, we've heard it countless times, that, college football games mostly won in the trenches, right? And so that's why we're talking about this offensive line. We're talking about the running game. Some teams have it all come together at the right time. Ohio State was a great example of that earlier this year, I guess it was. But then another component to this team is this tight end room, right, for Tennessee. And it just feels like we were saying that this appears to be the deepest tight end rotation we've had in recent memory. From your perspective, who would you be looking to? I mean, we know all the names, Kitzelman, Davis, Bram, Van Dorselaar. I mean, there's a lot there. Which one do you think could be a key to this team? We know Kitzelman's kind of stepped up as one of the leaders, but who could be a star out of this bunch?
Yeah, obviously Kitzelman's the number one guy in that group. Like you're saying, he's the leader. He's the SEC Media Day representative and all those things. I think Ethan Davis could play a massive role on this team simply because he came in kind of just as a receiver that had the body of a tight end. So he had a lot of work to do with the blocking department, which they're going to ask him to do this year. And he's going to have to take a significant step in that area because he hasn't been a great blocker at this point. And that's still a big aspect of what tight ends do, even at Tennessee. With the depth at receiver, particularly in the slot, and with Braylon Staley already missing practices right now, behind him you have Amari Jefferson and Joakim Dodson, who pretty much are both true freshmen, with Amari not playing at all last year at Alabama. I think a way to cover up a lot of that depth issues at the wide receiver spot is going to 12 personnel, which is something we saw Tennessee introduce last year. I think they could rely on it even more this year. And Ethan Davis, as someone that's already got so many of those skill sets as just a receiving tight end, I think that's a natural fit where he can be on the field. You can use him as essentially a big slot receiver at times, and he could make a difference in terms of, making sure the pass game doesn't have a fall off with the numbers at receiver right now. So he's the one I'm looking at right now as almost an X factor in some ways, I guess, where if he has a really nice season and he's someone that they can trust as he goes into, I believe, is year 3 for him, and he takes that significant step like Alec Abelin and Josh Heupel and his teammates have said that he's doing this offseason, he could be a big difference for Tennessee and see a lot of snaps alongside Kitzelman or alongside Deshaun Brain, who also just completely looks ready to go as a true freshman.
I'm sure, for most people, probably the most impactful players coming through the transfer portal for Tennessee on paper would probably be those two guys on the offensive line, and Wendell Moy and Sam Pendleton. But seems to be a solid amount of buzz as well around Colton Hood kind of in fall camp so far. Is there are you confident to say that this is going to be a guy that you maybe look back on kind of mid-season and say, wow, Colton Hood, a guy that the secondary would be hurting a lot more without somebody like that coming into the fold kind of late into the game, because I feel like he's going to be a guy that's going to have an impact on this season in a really positive way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that he completely looks ready to go, and he had that abbreviated offseason with Tennessee because he was one of those spring transfer portal additions. So he's kind of had to gear up really fast and get going for Tennessee, and it doesn't look like he's missed a step. Like it does when you're out on the practice field or when you talk to him or the coaches about him, no one seems to believe that he has some catching up to do because he was a late addition. It feels like he's been here for a while now. So I think that's a really nice sign, especially given you don't know what Jamad McCoy is actually going to look like by the time the season starts. He's back to practice in some ways, but still so limited. He's not really wearing pads. He's got the helmet on, but Doesn't seem to be like he's wearing shoulder pads or anything like that. He's not taking much contact. He's not really going through drills with other players. So he doesn't seem particularly close to getting ready to go. Like if this Saturday was a game day, it doesn't feel like he'd be active for this team right now. So with that said, we'll see what that looks like by the time you get to Syracuse, by the time you get to week 3 Georgia and SEC play starts coming around. But it's really nice to have Colton Hood there, where there seems to be a lot of confidence that he can play at an SEC level this early. And he's got, I guess, some SEC experience in his freshman year at Auburn. He's played for Colorado and, I guess learned from Deion Sanders, who's one of the best defensive backs in the history of the game, and Travis Hunter and all those things. He just seems like someone that they can rely on really early. And with that Jamal McCoy injury, that is a big deal. And what it's done, too, is Jalen McMurray, someone that played a lot of cornerback a year ago, he's now able to be super versatile and go over and play some nickelback in that star position where, we'll see exactly how much Boo Carter is able to go immediately with all the stuff that happened this offseason. And to have Jalen McMurray now be able to be flexible and play a little safety if he needs to, play a little star, maybe slide back into cornerback if he needs to, and do all those different things, but having to really gear him up to essentially be a starting cornerback, which he would have had to have been if Colton Hood didn't come in. I do think that'll be a big deal. And I think, like you said, maybe halfway through the year, you go, that was a big pickup for Tennessee, is landing Colton Hood in that spring window.
If you were a betting man, you mentioned Boo Carter. Do you think Boo Carter starts in the Syracuse game, other than maybe punt returns?
Yeah, I doubt it. I think he'll probably be, like you said, the punt returner. But as far as the star position, I would feel like they'll probably go to Jalen McMurray right now and have Idris Farouk and Andre Turrentine at the 2 safety spots, and then Ricky Gibson the third, and probably Colton Hood, because it's just tough to imagine Jamal McCoy fully ready to go at that point at the cornerback spot. Not that I've heard directly one way or the other that he's going to start or he's not, but like you said, if you had to put money on it, I would say it'll probably be Jalen McMurray right now.
We're a week away from the Savion Heiter commitment, big one there, and it feels like it's kind of a back and forth duel between Tennessee and Michigan as it stands right now. Is it anything, more than a coin flip, do you think, to you, or is it just going to be kind of a race to the finish between those two?
It just feels so 50-50. Like you get the intel from the rivals guys and stuff like that, and they seem to think that Tennessee was in front. And then the other day you got one of the Michigan players who's, asked about how the Wolverines have recruited the state of Virginia. And he's like, yeah, we're about to have another one coming up in about a week, obviously indicating that he thinks Savion Heiter is going to Michigan. So it almost depends who you ask right now. I don't think it's necessarily over either. Like both of these schools are going to make sure that they get some of those last words in and try to seal this deal. But I don't think you can, understate how big of a deal it would be if Tennessee got him. Getting the 5-star running back, the number 1 running back in the class, the top 10 player. I think you're looking at 247 composite, comes in at like number 9. Like that would just be a huge deal for Tennessee's running back room, and kind of shows you maybe the direction that Tennessee wants to go under Darrell Sims, where in the past you did a great job identifying guys like a Jalen Wright and a Dylan Sampson who kind of flew under the radar in some ways, and they ended up being fantastic players. But now you're looking at guys like Peyton Lewis, who I guess a Jerry Mack guy who Darrell Sims inherits, but still you land a high 4-star in Peyton Lewis. Now you're in the mix for a 5-star in Savion Heiter. You didn't really look too many other directions at running back either. It seems like they pinned him on the board and it was like it's all or nothing on him. And then if you look forward to the 2027 class, they have a couple other big name 5-star, high 4-star guys on the board. So it seems like they're taking a step in the running back recruitment, even if they don't land Savion Heiter, where it's like, hey, no more of the, like that 3-star, he does this and that. It's get those really high 4-stars like a DeJuan Morris who just came in that you feel like can make a difference pretty early, because Savion Heiter commits to Tennessee. There's a good chance to see him on the field a good bit as a freshman, because he's that type of player.
In the event that Savion Heiter does not commit to Tennessee and he goes to Michigan, do you think it could be tied to any of the scuttle that's out there that there's going to be an announcement coming out about Adidas versus Nike?
I mean, you compare it to the Derrick Henry commitment, where there was all those rumors about Derrick Henry not wanting to go this and that. And I've heard people already compare it where it's like, feels like the Savion Heiter thing's going to be similar, where they just missed on a guy. So, I mean, I guess you could make that direct comparison with Derrick Henry as well, where it's like, maybe that does factor into it. I doubt it. Guys care about that stuff. Is it going to be the reason they pick a school over another, most of the time not. Like I know AJ Brown talked recently on a podcast or something like that where he said, I didn't pick Georgia because they wear black cleats, not like wearing white cleats. So it can make a difference, but at the end of the day, it's hard to imagine that a kid of that caliber is going to pick a school because they're Nike or Adidas or Under Armour or whatever it is. At the end of the day, I think it's more about coaching staff, what's going on the field, ability to win football games and things like that.
Last question. Yesterday was court day for Ruby Whitehorn, you being such a Lady Vols insider. Did you hear anything?
They're trying to, the latest I've heard, they're trying to, settle things on both sides. It's a tricky situation when it gets to, the type of court cases. It's not the Chris Brazzell, you just didn't show up to a court date, and, obviously not something that you can do and get away with once you're pulled over again, but not the end of the world. This one is tough. So they're going to try to get to the bottom of it between the two sides and see, obviously Ruby Whitehorn doesn't want to get in too much legal trouble or anything with the season around the corner, but I haven't heard, I guess, what the end result's necessarily going to be, because it does end up kind of in the hands of what happens when they actually do get to court and do all those different things. So as a non-legal expert, it's still kind of a wait and see type of deal, but I guess if you're hoping that Ruby Whitehorn is going to be good to go for this season, right now, I guess, before anything has become official, it still feels like she'll probably be a part of the team, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm not saying that 100%.
I said to Shumpert when he was on the show the other day that you two were going to probably be starting up a GoFundMe to get free Ruby t-shirts made or something. So, because I know it weighs heavily on you, but yeah, it is going to be interesting to see what happens there. There's all sorts of conflicting stories as to why it happened, how it happened, everything else. So we'll see. Hey, listen, man, as always, appreciate you spending time with us. So for you, last thing, I mean, how's it play out now? You're going to be trying to create as much content as possible. I know there will still be availabilities with coaches and players, but in the absence of not being able to get footage of any practice, that's really what we're left with, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to have those actual boots on the ground practice access. You'll hear, some things, this guy did that, this guy did that, but a lot of it's going to be talking to Josh Heupel. They got a scrimmage coming up in a couple days again, so we'll see what transpires there. See if, maybe the social media team wants to post more than just a half-second clip of someone running the ball or making a tackle this time. Maybe get a view of Joey Aguilar throwing a touchdown or something. But the season's coming up fast, so it is, no more practice access in terms of taking video and things like that, but they got to make a decision on quarterback soon. They got to release some depth charts soon. They've got to do a bunch of different of those housekeeping things before they actually get over to Atlanta and play Syracuse, which it is coming up fast. It is really almost football season, which is kind of crazy to say.
Yeah, we're ready for it. I'm sure you are too. You can follow this guy at Ryan T. Sylvia on X, and also his work over at Rocky Top Insider. He is killing it. He's doing a lot of great stuff over there, feeding the content machine. If you want to find good content, you should check it out. Ryan, thanks again for the time, man. Appreciate it. And we'll look forward to talking to you the next time. Hope you have a great rest of the week.
Absolutely. You guys too. Thanks for having me on.
See you, Ryan.
See you, man. Let's take a quick break. When we return, we'll stay on college football. Let's look ahead. Like Ryan just said, we're kind of muddling through these days, but football is going to be here before we know it. I mean, the countdown really is just about on. And USA Today is not waiting. They put out their list of the 10 best games to look for in week 1 of college football. Not week 0, but week 1. Let's talk through those. There's some obvious choices, but then there's some other ones that you don't think about till it gets mentioned. And it's like, yeah, hell yeah, that's going to be a good game. We'll talk about it when we return. Stick around. You're listening to Under Review on Fan Run Radio.
Big Orange Country's home for sports. This is Fan Run Radio.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game. Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
Blackford Veterinary Surgery Referral specializes in surgeries not regularly performed by your pet's general veterinarian. They're currently accepting referrals from vets all across the country. With their newly renovated state-of-the-art surgery center and highly trained staff, clients can rely on professional and thorough care. If your vet says that your pet needs surgery or rehab, ask for a referral to Blackford Vet and let them get your best friend back on its feet. Located conveniently in West Knoxville. For more information, visit blackfordvetsurgery.com.
Yeah, it's another day, but what kind of day is it really? A day of doom scrolling? Laundry day? Nah, it's a White Claw day. Light and refreshing tasting, uniquely cold way filtered. There's an iconic flavor for everyone. So grab a pack, grab your friends. Make the most of each day with those who matter most. When you're together with White Claw, every day is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You just gotta grab it. White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw Seltzer Works, Chicago, Illinois.
Are you looking for a treat that will knock it out of the park at the next watch party? Just like your favorite baseball team, Crumble brings the best lineup week to week with an expanded roster that includes key lime pie, strawberry cake, or my personal favorite, Monster featuring M&M candies. Let Crumble treat you to the best cookies in the game. Download the Crumble app and start earning rewards. You can even vote monthly on what flavors you would like to see at any store of your choice. Warmer weather is here, so get to the ballpark, but don't miss the cookies.
Running a business, coaching a team, planning your next big event, you need more than just gear. You need SM Athletics and Logo Solutions. Custom uniforms, branded apparel, promotional products, done right, done fast, and built to show off your brand with pride. From local businesses to high schools to major universities, SM Athletics is trusted by winners. Get real service, get real quality, get noticed. SM Athletics and Logo Solutions, where your brand comes to life.
Visit smathletics.com and let's build something great together.
Yo, 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 what is up with it, homies? Talk sports. That's the show you want. It's the longest running sports radio morning show in town. You want your radio shows to be fun, and that's what Talk Sports is. Fun, fun, fun. No weirdo callers. I think Tennessee gonna go 6-6 this year. No nerdy guests. Well, their receiver depth is a little bit thin. Just two of the most entertaining guys in town, and Bubba giving you what you need. Tune in 7 to 10 a.m. every weekday here on Fan Run Radio. Our guy Cody McClure is on my mind. We heard that promo he just did, trashing all the other shows, but we love him. It's a bit, we get it, but then also that music selection, right, Sam? He picked that for us. He's a Rolling Stones guy.
Indeed,
it's a banger though. I love that song. I think Cody will be back tomorrow, is what we're hearing.
Who knows when that guy's coming back?
It's true.
Might not come back ever again. You know, he might just be.
He was down
back on the Sunset Strip doing comedy.
I was just going to say, he was down in Arkansas. About you would imagine if he's back tomorrow, he'd be heading back this way as we speak. He might be going west, for all we know. Just cruising along.
He said he wanted to maybe go down to the beach because he hasn't been in the water yet this year, was what he said.
He is the epitome of the song Life is a Highway.
Mm-hmm.
Just out there checking it out.
Mm-hmm.
Come what may, he doesn't care. Talking a little college football. You know, we've talked about how close we are to football time in Tennessee, 17 days away, 10 days away to week 0. Week 1 is about, I think there's a meaningful game in week 1 on a Thursday. So that's literally about 2 weeks away. So it's coming.
There's meaningful games.
Yeah, even in week 0, there's meaningful games.
Come on, Bob.
I get it.
Week 0 means something to all of us.
Week 1, though, what I love about week 1 is historically they wrap it around Labor Day weekend. It's just a great vibe, man, because, you know, you got a little extra time off. And not us here at Fan Run. Chances are we'll be doing something on Labor Day, coming off the heels of a Vols win against Syracuse.
Got to.
Be wanting to hear from fans about how they felt about the Vols scored 57 points.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that, but they're going to win. they're going to win. But our friends at USA Today, they put together a list of what they identified as the 10 best games in week 1 of college football. Now, there's some obvious ones, right? Lord knows we've talked about it in terms of Texas traveling to Ohio State. That's going to be epic, man. 1 versus 3 or 1 versus 2, depending upon what poll you're looking at. LSU going to Clemson should be a great game. There's others too, but it was just interesting to identify some of the other games because they rewind the clock. You're quick to, at least I am, quick to kind of identify the best games are on that Saturday. There's some good ones a couple days before. For example, on August 28th, so 2 weeks from tomorrow night, Nebraska versus Cincinnati in Kansas City, Missouri. Now, if that's in the mix of all these other games we've been talking about on Saturday, not so interesting, but Thursday night, I'll be watching this, right?
I mean, I'll probably be more tuned into Delaware State.
Come on.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's a good game. I feel like, Nebraska, Cincinnati, a team that I feel like is, kind of searching for a little bit of an identity right now. Nebraska just continuing to have a lot of hype around their team kind of coming into the off seasons, and we'll see if Mini Mahomes can kind of get it done for them over there, Nebraska this year.
Yeah, and I think Cincinnati's got a situation too where Scott Satterfield needs to win some games.
Yeah,
this is year 3 for him, so probably needs to get that going. So that's on Thursday night. Then on Friday, we've talked about this one, I think, with Jake Crain. Auburn at Baylor. This is one where we're going to learn a lot about Hugh Freeze and Auburn right off the bat, because by all accounts, I think something we learned last week when we were doing kind of our previews of the power conferences, Baylor, at least on paper, Baylor looks like they're ready to make a bit of a jump again.
I'm really excited for this game. I feel like you're going to find out a lot about this Auburn team early, and I think a lot of people will probably be quick to kind of make a snap judgment on that Auburn team. And I think it's probably going to be hard not to when you do have, a team like Baylor coming in there and a quarterback like Sawyer Robertson. Like I think there's some elements of kind of big game feel there for Auburn quickly to start off the season. And you're kind of throwing them into the fire and seeing if Jackson Arnold can, sink or swim with his second chance at being able to be a starting quarterback here in the conference.
Friday night's going to be fun on the 29th. You got that game, and then also Georgia Tech at Colorado as well. Big expectations for Georgia Tech. Colorado's a bit of a question mark. Not sure what they got coming back, but it's in Boulder, so that should be a wild one, I would think. I'm excited about that. We don't need to spend too much time talking about Texas at Ohio State on the 30th. Obviously, that's a headliner. And then
really sucks that we're at the same time of that game.
I know. 2 noon games, man. That is a problem. Alabama at Florida State, which may be a massacre. We'll just have to see. If Florida State it's in Tallahassee. If they can show up and make that a game, then that gives me a little more optimism about Florida State. But boy, it feels like they've set themselves up for a romp.
If you haven't already gotten it, run to your sports book and get it. 13.5 points, not going to be enough for the Seminoles.
Yeah. LSU Clemson should be a highly entertaining game, I would think. Feels to me like Clemson's got something to prove there, just from the standpoint that they're highly regarded. AP poll makes them preseason number 4.
Another game to run to your sports book for, Bob. Put down a nice little parlay on Clemson spread and Alabama spread and have yourself a good opening weekend.
Yeah, we got to factor in Brian Kelly in opening games, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
True. Utah at UCLA, that's of interest. Certainly to us, it's the debut for Nico Iamaleava. And Utah should be much better than they were last year. So this one should be an interesting one.
Isn't that like a midnight start or something?
Yeah.
Crazy.
11 o'clock, baby.
That night slate's good. There's like 5 or 6 games.
Hell yeah.
Colorado State, Washington.
Yeah. Cal, Oregon State. Hawaii.
Hawaii.
I love Hawaii after dark.
Yeah.
Yes, you got problems.
Garrett's a real sicko with me.
I was
I
gonna
love
say,
it. I love it.
Garrett's got problems. Virginia Tech versus South Carolina in Atlanta on Sunday the 31st. Interesting one. I'd say the Hokies need to deliver, right? Brent Pry, we've talked about him last week when we talked about the ACC. I'd say he's a guy on the hot seat in Blacksburg. And we'll learn about South Carolina. Like, can they carry that momentum over that they finished last season with? They look good, man.
Mm-hmm.
Also on the 31st, Notre Dame at Miami. Let's go back in time, man. That feels good. Seeing those two teams matched up.
Print the T-shirts.
Hell yeah. And then Labor Day. Got the viewers all to himself. Bill Belichick in Chapel Hill. TCU at North Carolina. Boy, what happens if this thing starts off where TCU just runs Carolina off the field?
Chapel Bill and Jordan versus the Furries. What a
Yeah.
matchup.
It's a good one. It's a good list of games, man. It's getting me excited just thinking about it. Make sure your TVs are fired up. Make sure you've got your blazing, flaming hot dill pickle Cheetos.
Might go get some of those in the break.
Got it. Yeah, there's still some here. I saw those. Let's jump over to the phone lines. We got Rusty on the line waiting for us. We appreciate that. Rusty, what's going on, man?
Same old. Just getting jacked up and fired up for hearing the big announcement today, hopefully. And been looking at the JP poll a little bit too that came out that was released last night over at Pate State and his college football show.
Yeah, what
going over that? So getting prepared.
I've not seen that. Where do you have us?
So his poll is a power rating, not a ranking. It's a computer model, kind of. It's all based off of the teams are rated 1 through whatever based on neutral field, who would be favored in a game.
Yeah.
Tennessee's 18.
Okay.
So 17 teams on a neutral field, according to the computer model, which is kind of what Vegas does too. 17 teams on a neutral field will be favored over Tennessee slightly. The craziest part about it, and this is, he talked about all this. Teams 1 through 8 are on a neutral field. Texas to Clemson, that's 1 and 8. Those teams are separated by 5 points or less on a neutral field. Normally 1 to 8 has somewhere closer to 8, 9 point, sometimes 10 point spreads, very, very close. And then team number 9 down to team number 22, there's less than 5 points of separation in those teams. Basically saying that there's a hodgepodge of teams on neutral fields going into this season that there's not a ton of separation in.
Would you say that just based on when you kind of hear those metrics thrown out there, because I've been of the mind that there's like a top 3 or 4 and everyone else this season, but maybe not. Maybe it feels like it's wide open again. What's your initial take as we head into another season?
Ohio State's replacing a ton on defense. They still got a ton of talent. Everybody assumes it's Saying at quarterback, but is he going to be like the entire quarterback class from 3 years ago that was Jackson Arnold, Iamaleava, the Moore kid, the kid that ended up at SC that went to Boise State and now washed out at Boise State, and Arch is Saying just similar to that group, and he's not very good and they're gonna struggle there. So Ohio State's got question marks. They're uber talented and they play in the Big Ten, but who knows? Texas has Arch, and have we seen him play in a big football game where he was asked to drop back and throw? Texas lost a ton on defense, but they're returning a ton of talent. They've stockpiled, but there's still question marks. You Georgia, I mean, did they really trust the Stockton kid? A lot of turnover down there. They've hit portal heavy. Penn State, do we trust James Franklin in winning a football game that has any significance against a team that's maybe equal or better talent than him? And Drew Aller is who knows what. Alabama, 2 words, Ty Simpson. Notre Dame doesn't even know who their quarterback's going to be. I mean, that's 1 through 6 right there. Oregon's relying on the DJ Moore kid who went to UCLA, played a little bit that first year, started a couple ball games. Then I think had a minor injury and sat the rest of the year. Now he's at Oregon. Then was behind Gabriel last year. I don't know. I mean, I don't think any of those teams you can say are for sure great. I think the only one, I mean, the only team that I really feel great about of those would be Texas. And that's still assuming there's still an assumption that Arch is going to play really, really well when a game matters. Where he's not coming in to run wildcat. You know what I mean? Because that's all he's done in big games is he's came off the bench to go in for one play and run a quarterback sweep. But that's the best of the bunch, I think. What do you think?
I do think, as much as it pains me to say it, I mean, their coach hasn't been great at winning big games. I think Penn State looks really, really strong, man. They got the quarterback. They got a lot of returning skill players.
They went heavy on receivers in the portal to get better there.
Yeah,
they lost the superstar tight end, I believe. He went in the draft.
Yeah, Tyler Warren.
Yeah, he was the best pass catcher last year, but they went and got guys at skill position. Until James Franklin wins one that matters, I still question it. But you're right; they look really, really good. They should be really, really good.
Sam, if you had to pick a team one, who do you lean towards?
Clemson to me is the unquestioned number 1 team in the country. I mean, they bring back the third most, I guess, tied for the second most starters in all of Power 4. They've got 16 players returning. They've got a first-round quarterback in Cade Klubnik. They've got their entire wide receiver core basically with Antonio Williams, Wesco, TJ Moore, all those guys. They've got just an embarrassment of riches on that defensive line with multiple first-round draft picks. They've got some really good talent in that linebacker room. They've got good guys in that secondary all the time. I think everyone is underrating Clemson, even though they're coming into some of these polls at 4 and 5. To me, they need to be having a lot more conversation about being the number 1 team in the country.
The computer has them 8th on a neutral field. And I'm with you. They may be the team that should be talked about the most when they return all they do. I think it's a depth thing with them. I was
How's it a
reading
depth thing?
online.
You've got 16 starters returning.
Their too deep is not great. Is the depth thing? That's what the computer models are saying. That their first 22 is phenomenal. After that, there's a pretty massive drop off on their roster. That's the knock on them, I know, as far as the computers go.
I'll go with what's been put on the field before what the computers are telling me, Rusty.
Vegas built a whole bunch of these fancy things, knowing what.
Yeah, right.
No, but you're right. Clemson, and they get to play in the ACC. That's a pretty big benefit too.
You're right.
To them likely being one of the top 4 seeds at the end of the year. But Texas is number 1 in both AP poll and JP poll. Texas is the team. Anyway, I'm sure all that probably bored the listeners to pieces. Sorry about that. Adidas, let's go.
Yeah.
Miami's uniforms, Nebraska's uniforms are gorgeous now under Adidas. It's because each school's making their own uniforms, and Adidas just gets to put their logo on it. But you're right, Bob. Is is there a single kid out there that signs an NIL deal that if you tell them, I'm going to pay you $1 more to wear Adidas than Nike, they would say no?
Right.
Well,
yeah, it's about the money, man. That's it.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
Yep. And
go ahead. Finish your thought.
I think we're going to have a lot more money coming from Adidas.
Oh yeah.
Than we will from Nike, in so many different ways. Not just in the what's on the contract, what Tennessee gets, but I think it's going to be beneficial to whenever we're signing NIL deals with kids, having Adidas as our backer as well. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
No, that was it. I got to bounce. Got to get to a break, but I was
okay. Get to a break, brother.
Yeah, thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it as always. All right, let's hit a final break. When we return, I think we got another caller. We'll hit them on the other side as we wrap up hour 2. Stick around. It's Under Review on Fan Run Radio.
Streaming worldwide at fanrunradio.com and on the free Fan Run app. This is Big Orange Country's sports talk radio superstation, Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
All you can eat Wednesday tonight with your Knoxville Smokies. For less than $30, you get a ticket into the game. All you can eat barbecue, hot dogs, Bush's baked beans, potato chips, Pepsi products, and more. Anyone else getting hungry? See you tonight.
Smokies! And here we go. It's William Pattison, and this is your daily invite to Overtime on Fan Run Radio. Weeknights from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm breaking down everything you care about, from the latest Tennessee Volunteers news to bold takes on college football, the NFL, and NBA. If it's happening in the world of sports, I've got an angle on it. You bring the passion, and I'll deliver the truth, the fire, and the facts. It's Overtime with William Pattison, weeknights at 7, only on Fan Run Radio.
Dental health is so important. It's one of those things that if you don't stay on top of it, it can really come back to haunt you, both financially and, of course, in terms of your physical health. If it's been a while since you've been to the dentist or you've got a dental issue that needs attention, do what I do. Go to Malone and Costa Dentistry at Knoxville Smiles. You can schedule your appointment online right now at knoxvillesmiles.com or just give them a call at 865-539-1776 and tell them Fan Run Radio sent you.
Hey, folks, if you're in need of a lawyer, you need to call my friend Jerry Givens. I've known Jerry since high school and can personally vouch for him. He's East Tennessee through and through, and if you're going through a divorce, bankruptcy, or a DUI case, you'll need someone you can trust on your side to help you navigate the local legal system. You can trust Jerry Givens. Call the law offices of Jerry Givens today at 865-801-9250 to schedule your free consultation. That's 801-9250.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Hungry for some mouth-watering barbecue? Then take the quick drive up I-75 to Rickard Ridge for some of the best barbecue you'll ever have. Fall off the bone, Memphis-style baby back ribs, slow-smoked chicken thighs, and fresh hand-cut steaks. Rickard Ridge has something for everyone. Located in Cove Lake State Park with a spectacular view of the Cumberland Mountains, Rickard Ridge. It's more than just dinner, it's a destination. Check out their full menu and catering options online at rickardridgebbq.com.
Welcome back. Let's jump to the phone lines. Got another caller. We got Joshy Boy waiting. Joshy, what is happening, man?
Not much, Bob. How are you guys doing today?
We're good.
Doing good.
Good. Bob, I think we were talking a few weeks ago about Indiana. I placed a bet on them to go over 8.5 wins. I see about 4 or 5 lock wins for Indiana on the schedule, and the others I see as toss-ups. What are your thoughts on that, on the Hoosiers?
great question. I'm calling them up as I speak.
First 3 games, you got Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, and Indiana State.
Yeah, I mean they're 3-0 going into Big Ten play, but what I do recall as I'm searching for it is that they have road games at Penn State,
in Oregon,
Sam, I don't know if you're seeing their schedule.
You said the number's 8.5, Joshy.
Yes.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
They're at Purdue, at Maryland, at Iowa.
I feel comfortable penciling in 8 right now. That would be like after that, it starts to become a little bit more into the toss-up range for me, where I think those games would be like, Illinois on the road against Iowa, on the road against Penn State. Those would be kind of those toss-up games, and then Oregon on the road at Oregon. I don't think I said that, but I feel pretty solid about those other ones in terms of them getting to that number. But obviously, Vegas doing their job pretty well. If I'm feeling like 8 is kind of the number that you can feel solid about right now, and then you got to hope that you can kind of find one in those other 2 or 3 games.
If I recall correctly, Joshy, now I'm looking at it, I think what I was saying to you was they really need to get one out of the Illinois and Iowa pair, to get to 9, in my opinion, at least 9 regular season wins.
I agree with that.
It's kind of like Tennessee, honestly, when we keep talking about Oklahoma and Florida. It's that kind of scenario.
Right. So what are your guys' thoughts on Sue Carter's mom has been kind of a topic on Twitter of her like on her phone all the time and just like posting stupid stuff. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
We talked a little bit about this yesterday, and she might reemerge at the end of our show today. I just think if Boo's got any wherewithal, man, it's like please talk to your mom and just say, put the phone down, man. Stop it.
Right.
I mean, it's just bad. It's just a bad look. And it just further fuels a perception that Boo's not surrounded with good people, man. His circle of influence is a problem. And we've seen that happen before with other players, and it's unfortunate. But like I said on the show yesterday, Joshy, you look at what the Mannings did with Arch just last week. You had Grandpa go out and talk to the media about, hey, this kid's going to play 2 more years. He is not ready for the pros. That's a strong, it's obviously the opposite end of the spectrum. That's a super strong circle of influence, but they're handling their business the right way. You can't count on that with Boo and what he's got. And that's just the truth. And that's the reality. But you can at least say, to the parents, just, man, for lack of a better term, shut up. Please stop. Yeah, that's all. It's unfortunate, man, because the kid's got a great opportunity, and he's already got in my opinion, he's up against it already based on some of his behavior, but feels like it's being enabled by the people who are supposed to be closest to him.
Right. My question for you guys out the door, if we were to go 10-2 this season, what do you think we have done like really, really good to get the 10 wins this season?
Sam?
I would say that the wide receiver room stays healthy. Your young wide receivers turn into the guys that, they were kind of expected to be. And, you don't have an issue turning the ball over with your quarterback. I think to get to that 10-2 mark, Joey Aguilar, hones it in, kind of becomes that gunslinger that he was as advertised at App State, and just needs a little bit more refinement. But to me, it's just the run game continues to be dominant in the Josh Heupel era, but it's your wide receivers that stay healthy and your young guys that stay productive. And Joey Aguilar kind of takes that leap at the quarterback position.
That's well said. I really think it's based on what we've heard in these past 2 weeks. I think it's pretty safe to say the way we would get there is maybe overperforming our expectations of those position areas, quarterback and wide receiver. And then getting the other components that we've been talking about today that we feel could be net positives already. The running game, the line, the tight ends. We're not giving a lot of time to the defense right now because we think the defense is going to show up in total just because of their track record. Like Sam said, maybe not quite as good as last season's, but still very, very good and very formidable and can keep us in games. So I think that's what it is. You're right, Sam. I think if those guys can just over-index what the expectations are, that changes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So we shall see. We shall see. Appreciate that call, Joshy. We're wrapping up hour 2. Got one more hour in the books and now another one ahead for today as we continue to talk Tennessee football, but we have midday headlines to go through. Sam will have you in the fold for that. And then we have Jake Crain of Crain & Company joining us also in hour 3. And then maybe a little not for nothing at the end of the show too. So good hour 3 coming your way. Stick around with us. We'll be right back. It's Under Review on Fan Run Radio.
For the fans, by the fans, this is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville. You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
We really need to get some branded stuff. Shirts, hats, promo items, something professional.
I mean, we could just find a website and order a bunch of it ourselves.
You could, but you're taking a big risk. You don't know the quality, the fit, the timeline. It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah, I guess. But isn't that how everyone does it now?
Not the ones who actually care about how their brand looks. Look, if we're putting our name on it, it needs to be done right. We need SM Athletics.
SM Athletics?
Yeah, they specialize in working with businesses like ours. Apparel, hats, promo gear, but real, customized stuff. They actually care if it turns out right.
Probably a lot better than getting stuck with 100 t-shirts with crooked logos.
Exactly. Plus, they'll walk you through everything. Sizing, colors, material, so it matches the image we're trying to build.
Makes sense. What's the name again?
SM Athletics. Trust me, if you want to look like a real company, not a flea market stand, this is the move. If you're serious about your brand, work with people who are serious about getting it right. SM Athletics.
Attention service members and veterans. Introducing the Griffin Law Firm, your trusted ally in military legal matters. From court martials to benefit claims, at Griffin Law, your mission is their mission. Here's VFL Marshall Griffin.
As a veteran and retired military attorney, I've successfully defended lifelong benefits and helped preserve professional futures. So I know that when you hire a military justice lawyer, you maximize your chance to get relief. With my unique experience, I can advocate for you because there's no military matter that's too big or too small. Let us help you make these critical decisions that could affect the rest of your life. Remain silent. Request counsel. Call Griffin Law.
For a free consultation, call 888-707-4282. That's 888-707-4282. Or just visit griffinlawdefense.com.
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-88-99789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
Believe in family. Believe in your fellow man. Believe in honesty and an honest day's work. We do. We're Farm Bureau Insurance. And we don't just believe in Tennessee. We believe in Tennesseans. Farm Bureau Insurance. Tennessee's insurance company.
This is Baseball VFL Cody Brown. Farm Bureau Insurance is the official insurance for Tennesseans. Believe in me for all of your insurance needs. Give me a call at 865-992-3871.
Hour 3 of Under Review starts now.
Welcome back to the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios of Fox Sports Knoxville Fan Run Radio. It's Under Review. You got Bob and Sam and Brett and Garrett here on a Wednesday tipping point of the week, right? It's all downhill from here as we head towards another weekend. Bringing you all the Vols talk that you're interested in. You can be part of that conversation, be a part of the program live. You can call or text us at area code 865-966-3435. That's 966-3435, or you can also connect with us on X at Fox Sports Knox. Maybe you're watching us on Fan Run TV on our YouTube channel. You can chat with us there as well. Time for some midday headlines. Other things happening in the world of sports, to be sure. For that, I turn things over to Sam Beard.
Some big-time money flowing in for Kansas this morning as their athletic department receives a historic $300 million gift from longtime donor and alumnus David Booth. Just a few days before their season gets kicked off, they get themselves a nice sum of money, the largest in Kansas athletics and University of Kansas history, and is among the largest single gifts in the history of college athletics. Lawrence native. He's a graduate of Lawrence High School. He went to Kansas University, obviously has made a lot of money in his time. The founder of Dimensional Fund Advisors, a global investment firm that manages $853 billion in assets as of June 30th of this year. So $200 million or $300 million, just a drop in the bucket for this guy in the grand scheme of things. But David Booth putting together quite the offer for Kansas football, or not just Kansas football, Kansas athletics, but maybe Kansas football turns into Texas Tech football here with an investment like this. This is pretty hefty prize that their athletic department's giving. I'm sure, I'm sure Bill Self and those guys over there are praising them for what they're about to do to that basketball team. I would imagine football's going to get a nice chunk of it, but basketball, I'm sure, is going to have just some crazy amounts of money to spend here coming up.
That's a lot of money, man, particularly for Kansas. Man, Lance Leipold's like, hell yeah.
Yeah, he's like, just don't forget about me. I know you got a new stadium for me, but
yeah,
I can do a little bit more with $20 million roster.
That's right.
Some media news here. Few big news here. ESPN has promoted Laura Rutledge to full-time Monday Night Football role. She signed a multi-year extension with ESPN earlier this year and is now getting a little bit more of a expanded role. They will have 2 sideline reporters moving forward. She will become a full-time member of the crew with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. She filled in for Lisa Salters when she had to step away to handle some personal matters this past season, but as we all know, Laura Rutledge does a really good job at all this stuff, and so ESPN kind of saying, "Hey, we got room for 2 of them. We can go Lisa Salters and Laura Rutledge for Monday Night Football."
Yeah, it's a good tee up for them getting the Super Bowl too.
Yeah,
they're going to go all out. Yeah, we've talked about Rutledge as a star, man. What I don't understand is how she does it. She makes it happen, but she does NFL Live. She does SEC Nation. They're saying she's not giving those up. And then now she's going to be doing Monday Night Football. That's a hell of a fall.
Mm-hmm.
I guess fall season. I mean,
yeah.
So I think I guess she must take the tact of, I can sleep come, February.
It's like the John Rothstein approach, but for football.
Yeah.
Sticking with that crew, ESPN also announced a contract extension for Lisa Salter. So she's now the longest tenured sideline reporter in Monday Night Football history.
She's a good one.
Yeah.
She's a good one.
Did you see this, Bob, yesterday? Stephen A. Smith and Clay Travis set to debate at Tuned In on September 16th. where they will debate sports, politics, and the business of both.
Honestly, this is a tough one. I think I'm rooting for Stephen A. in this one. I hope he puts.
I feel like this is kind of stooping down for Stephen A. little bit.
Well,
like I feel like this is a big get for Clay Travis, like in his career type of thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like Stephen A. just he did, for a guy that has said he wants to fight LeBron James, like I feel like kind of messing around with the debate in Clay Travis isn't exactly. I'm kind of surprised he took this offer. I guess I should say.
I think there's might be a bigger agenda for Stephen A. He was on Bill Maher's show on HBO Friday night, Real Time. It was him and Dr. Phil. Okay. And it turned into kind of a debate. It was actually really good. And it was very healthy. It was, both sides of the aisle. And even Bill Maher said, see, this is what we should have, right? It's not, because both sides were saying we got problems, man, and because Dr. Phil, I don't know if you know, but Dr. Phil's been like participating in ICE raids and not like he's doing it, but he's just riding along. And,
Okay.
And Stephen A. was like, how can you do that? And, and Dr. Phil would be like, hey, the process is messed up. I don't question that. And that's kind of why I'm trying to check it out. And anyway, all that to say, Stephen A. said the other night on Bill Maher's show that unless the Democratic Party gets a better alternative, he will entertain running for president. So there's part of me that thinks he's getting out there to do these kind of debate things with, take it in his realm of sports. That can
Stephen A. becoming the president would just be the craziest turn of events ever.
He got on he got on a rant, and Dr. Phil just said, man, you talk fast. Because he just kept going. He goes, you didn't take a breath and you didn't mess up a word there.
Those press conferences would be hilarious if Stephen A. is just like in the Oval Office and just firing off on all cylinders.
Yeah. I do not agree with Russia, Ukraine. However, I could see him getting into one of his classic rants. So, back to your point.
Can't wait to see how they tie in the Dallas Cowboys into, Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not the biggest. I'm impressed by what Clay Travis has accomplished, but I think sadly I'd probably root for Stephen A. in that conversation.
The holdout has finally ended. Knew it was going to come at some point, but the Buffalo Bills signing running back James Cook to a 4-year, $48 million extension with $30 million of that guaranteed. His agent told Adam Schefter that guaranteed money is the most a running back has received in the last 5 years. $12 million average annual salary ties him for 6th highest paid running back in the league. James could only envision himself as a Buffalo Bill, according to his agent. Extremely thankful to the entire Bills organization and glad we could make that happen. Ended his hold in on Tuesday. Suited up in practice for the first time in over a week. 25 years old, coming off probably the best year of his career. Just over 1,200 total yards on 239 touches. 16 rushing touchdowns, tied with Jahmyr Gibbs and Derrick Henry for the most in the league. So Bills, good team at locking up their players, getting them on some team-friendly deals and stuff like that, and making sure that they keep their superstars happy. So in this offseason, they've locked up Josh Allen, Christian Benford, Greg Rousseau, Terrell Bernhard, Khalil Shakir, now James Cook, all receiving new multi-year deals. So Brandon Beane and the Bills rolling over there kind of makes me feel like this contract extension was like planned to do after Hard Knocks was filmed last night or something like that.
I didn't appreciate James Cook as a running back until I would play teams in fantasy football that had James Cook, and he would just go off, man.
Stud.
He is kind of all you hear is about is Josh Allen, but Cook was solid last year.
Yeah,
very good.
Developing story out of Dolphins camp as Chop Robinson carted off during joint practice with an injury with their practice against the Detroit Lions, according to multiple reports. Was the Dolphins' first-round pick in 2024. was emerging as a star for that defense kind of in the back half of his rookie year. Only Micah Parsons was credited with recording more quarterback pressures than Chop Robinson in the last 9 weeks of the 2024 regular season. So he was a guy that was definitely coming on strong, but this is a big blow for them. Jalen Phillips, a guy that had suffered some injury setbacks with him as a young pass rusher. You've got Bradley Chubb as well, but Chop Robinson was a guy that really had a lot of Dolphins fans excited. I told Bob during the break, I think the Dolphins are in line for a choppy season this year.
Is it possible they could end up last in their division? I mean, it's probably between them and the Jets. I think the Patriots are going to be much better.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I don't think things are going to go well down there in Miami. I think McDaniel's time might be done.
Yeah.
Did you hear his that soundbite like last week or something? They're like, Mike, how you feeling? On camp getting back going. He's like, we're one day closer to death.
If he gets fired, he probably ends up somewhere as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, he'll get back on his feet, get back into some kind of X's and O's nerdy role type of thing.
He's kind of a boy genius in terms of that stuff.
Yeah. This was interesting. Did you know that Jerry Jones has been battling cancer? Has that been a thing that has been announced to the media?
I saw that, and that's the first I knew.
So coming out this morning, it was announced that Cowboys owner Jerry Jones has survived a stage 4 cancer battle that lasted more than a decade, including 4 surgeries for him. So beat stage 4 melanoma. Said that battle lasted longer than a decade. Had the 4 surgeries. He said he now has no tumors. 82 years old. Told the Dallas Morning News that the initial diagnosis came in 2010. So I've been battling this one for a long time. I know a lot of people aren't too fond of Jerry Jones, but nobody's a fan of cancer. Good for Jerry Jones to be able to come out on the other end of this at 82 years old. And is it an off-color joke to say that this is maybe why Micah Parsons hasn't been getting too much contract attention? He's trying to beat cancer, guys.
Maybe.
Micah's like, all right, now let's get a contract together.
I'll tell you what, I was talking to a friend of mine who listened to, I think it was Bill Simmons' podcast, and they were talking about this. We talked about this yesterday, about the documentary that Netflix is going to drop next week called The Gambler and His Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just saying they've seen enough trailers. They were like, this is going to be spectacular because it's about when he took over the Cowboys and everything else. And I mean, you were a little guy back then, if at all, really. You might not have been of this earth, but they were hateable, man. They were so good. They were so good. So I'm kind of fired up now about watching that.
In this article, it says that he mentions having cancer treatments like in the Netflix series. So
probably
I'm
why
sure it comes out kind of in that.
Yeah, probably why they I could see that. That's probably why they're talking about it, because it's going to come clean.
Yeah. Najee Harris back running, doing some drills at Chargers practice. Bob participated in drills with a football for the first time in training camp. So, using a little bit of that echolocation, maybe now the next step is making sure that you've got a football in your hand after suffering the July 4th fireworks mishap with a superficial eye injury. If we got any eye doctors out there that are listeners of the station, please let me know what a superficial eye injury is. But seems as if he is getting back onto the right track, and who knows, maybe this will unlock a new portion of Najee Harris's production. I was kind of before this injury, I was actually excited to see what he was going to go do at the Chargers. Then they went and drafted, Marion Hampton. So we'll kind of see what that running back competition is like there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd kind of given up on Najee Harris, honestly, but you're right. Maybe change of scenery was going to change things, but I don't know. Maybe this injury could give him some sort of superhuman sight thing that he didn't have before. If he can, the way Harbaugh is making it sound. What did he call it again? Like, what do you call his like range of vision? You just mentioned it.
Oh, the strong sense of echolocation. Is
That's
that what
it.
you're talking
Yeah.
about? Yeah.
Yeah.
I still don't know if that quote is real. I'm just choosing to believe that it is because it sounds exactly like something Harbaugh would say.
Oh, it's totally something he would say.
I guess I forgot to mention this one with the Chop Robinson Dolphins news, but Alexander Madison, Dolphins running back, he underwent season-ending neck surgery on Sunday in Chicago. So he hurt his neck during that preseason game versus the Bears. Was taken by ambulance to a local hospital and had surgery. So he'll be out for the year. I don't think Alexander Madison was necessarily going to be a guy that was going to get a whole lot of run for that Dolphins team, but as it relates to Tennessee, maybe a little bit of more of an opening or some more reps for Jalen Wright to go get. And we all, if you're an SEC football fan, we all know what Devon Achane is going to do. He's going to play 4 games of just unbelievable football, and then the guy's made of tissue paper, so he's going to be out for 6 weeks after that, and then he'll come back periodically for the rest of the season. I think there's a lane for Jalen Wright to kind of emerge in that Miami running back room this year.
I think you're right. Madison's a fascinating case to me. Remember when he was kind of the backup back at Minnesota, and it just felt like anytime he came in, he did something explosive, and it's like, God, that guy should be an RB1. And then he got traded, and it just never materialized for him. It's a tough one.
Mm-hmm. Titans had a better day of practice, thank God.
Yeah, I saw some notes yesterday. It sounded rough.
Calvin Ridley walking off the practice field today says, "We won today. Y'all write that." Hell yeah, Calvin. Talk that talk. That's about it for me.
Yeah, we'll be bringing Easton Freeze back here pretty soon. I saw one of his posts yesterday where he was like, Cam Ward just threw maybe one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen, but hey, he's keeping it real, right?
3 touchdowns today, no interceptions.
There you
for
go.
Cam. So he's got the bounce back in him. I feel like.
Yeah, he's a rookie, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna have
gotta go through the growing pains.
Peyton Manning's first season in the regular season was rough.
Amen.
Rough.
Amen.
Brett, known Titans fan.
Yeah.
You think Cam Ward's gonna?
He'll be all right. He's definitely an upgrade of what they had last year, no doubt about that. I mean, it'll be interesting if they can put some points on the board. Our defense, like I said, was second in the league last year in yards and different things like that. And so, I mean, you're kind of optimistic. Division is okay. So I don't know. My expectations they'll be better. They'll definitely be better. I'd say 6 or 7 wins for sure.
Who's really fallen off the radar to some degree, and I'm saying this by looking at just like we know, but like fantasy rankings of quarterbacks and stuff. All of a sudden, CJ Stroud is considered kind of ordinary. All of a sudden,
I mean, their offensive line has just gotten worse
favors.
and worse and worse. They just said, "Hey, let's go out and draft wide receivers instead of guys to keep the quarterback upright."
And Mixon's banged up too, right? He's not going to be ready at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Is Chubb going to be their running back? Is that what they were?
Maybe. Chubb time.
That's crazy. It's just that rookie year he had was unbelievable, and he came in with a fair amount of hype last year. It just feels like they've tempered it back now. It'll be interesting to see if Jalen Daniels is kind of in that same boat.
Yeah.
Or Jaden Daniels. I always mix him up with the Kansas quarterback. Garrett, your thoughts on Cam Ward? We haven't had a chance to talk about him.
I mean, he's an electric playmaker. I mean, that's exactly what he is. You saw in college, he made some ill-advised passes that work in college with defensive backs that you play against and that. But in the National Football League, I think some of those passes aren't 100% going to work, but he has an extremely high ceiling. And I mean, if he can reach his ceiling, I think that he can be a franchise player for that team for sure.
Your thoughts on him wearing red shoes? Apparently, Sam said that's going to be a normal look for him.
What's the reasoning behind it?
We just do like the red accents. Like we've got players that wear like red sleeves and red gloves with the Titans colors. So he I think he's just a red cleats guy.
I mean, it's like when I watch the NBA and guys have like neon cleats. I mean, neon shoes on.
Yeah.
It's
At least it's a color accent, right? Because you're right. In the NBA, a lot of these guys are wearing colors that have nothing to do with the uniforms.
I mean, he's not wearing like purple or anything like that. It looks like it lines up with the team. I like the red accents. Hope we get a little more.
Play good.
Hope we get a little more red into the new uniforms. I'm excited what the new uniforms are going to look like
when they do Cancer Awareness Month. You see a lot of pink shoes.
Mm-hmm.
You guys in or out on the pink shoes? This is gonna sound crazy. I think sometimes it looks all right, depending.
I like the pink stuff.
Yeah, depends on what the uniform colors are. I mean, if you're Green Bay wearing the pink shoes, it's not.
The NFL
great.
got rid of that. They
Did
used to like. I don't think they let them wear it anymore. You remember, like it used to be all of October, right?
Yeah,
and you'd have the receivers wearing the pink gloves and the pink towels and stuff like that.
Maybe I'm thinking NBA.
The best is the MLB on Mother's Day when they have pink bats.
Yeah.
And then they do a really subtle thing. Father's Day, it's light blue.
Yeah.
Now that's the other thing they do for recognizing the dads.
The 4th of July, hats that they wear are always pretty cool too.
Yeah, I like those. All right, Sammy, good batch of headlines. Let's take a quick time out. When we return, let's get another voice in here. Jake Crain of Crain and Company. Something tells me he's going to have some thoughts certainly about they're knee deep in college football previews, so we'll be talking ball, but I want to get his take on like Mateer and some other stuff too. We'll do all that with Jake on the other side. Stick around. It's under review on Fan Run Radio.
The flagship station for Tennessee fans. This is Fan Run Radio.
Hey Knoxville, Surfside iced tea and vodka made with real brewed tea is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, zero carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend's house? Bring an iced tea or lemonade variety pack from Surfside or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find the can with the sunset stripes this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Surfside iced tea and vodka, sunshine in a can. Must be 21 or older. Enjoy responsibly.
Believe in family. Believe in your fellow man. Believe in honesty and an honest day's work. We do. We're Farm Bureau Insurance. And we don't just believe in Tennessee. We believe in Tennesseans. Farm Bureau Insurance. Tennessee's insurance company.
This is Baseball VFL Cody Brown. Farm Bureau Insurance is the official insurance for Tennesseans. Believe in me for all of your insurance needs. Give me a call at 865-992-3871.
Hello, is Tina there?
Who's this?
Yeah, this is Vince from the hit reality show Wives Don't Tell. Tina applied for our show to confess that her husband won't go to the doctor to get his erectile dysfunction checked. She said she's ready for a guy that can bring the heat.
All right, what the is going on? You know you're talking to her husband right now? Tina!
Well, she wrote the application that her man's performance is questionable. She's basically married to a coffee table. She also said, we live within driving distance to Men's Pro Knoxville, but he's too scared to get a blood test.
Oh my, she is done. She is so done.
Got you, Mike. It's Nephew Tommy. Ain't no reality show. It's a prank. Men's Pro Knoxville is the real deal, fellas. Local experts, test results in minutes. Call 865-544-8220 or hit men'spro-knoxville.com before your lady books a new co-star. Men's Pro Knoxville, making it happen.
In a world filled with deadlines and screens, sometimes we forget the simple joys of life, days filled with special moments. At Inward Half, we understand the essence of these moments. Feel the difference between our breathable fabrics and flexible apparel as you disconnect from the hustle and bustle and reconnect with what truly matters. Inward Half, simple luxury for on and off the course.
Welcome back. Under Review carries on here on a Wednesday. We've been talking a lot of college football, obviously. We'll continue some of that and maybe a little NFL and maybe some other stuff. We always enjoy this segment on Wednesdays. This guy is always kind enough to give us some of his time and certainly his insight, his wisdom, all of it. You know him as the host of Crain and Company, very successful YouTube show on the Daily Wire. We'd call him a friend, too. It's Jake Crain. Jake, appreciate you hopping on, man. How are you?
Doing great, guys. Appreciate y'all having me.
Hey, let's just get started with one thing before we dig deep into some nuts and bolts on ball. I saw you guys spend a little time on it, as you should. We have not, but what is going on with these Kentucky football team pictures that they were doing?
Man, look, I'm all for having fun. I know how the locker room is, but there's kind of a line of stuff you just don't want to put out there because even if it goes good, the season does, which it's not for Kentucky, you're going to get made fun of mercilessly. But now, since you did those pictures, and again, it's just hard for me to describe them if you haven't seen them, now when it goes bad, it's going to be twice as worse because, I think, I forgot what movie it is, but he says, short, fat, and stupid's a bad way to go through life. And it just feels like at the end of the day, Kentucky is not helping themselves out with the pictures that they're taking. Social media is just ruining people. It really is, left and right.
Jake, after seeing all of the John Mateer Venmo gambling stuff, I went through your page and found impermissible benefits that you paid to Hugh Freeze over at Auburn. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, come and get me. Look, it's just funny that we have NIL and people are getting upset about the name of Venmo transactions. It's just absolutely hilarious to me. But I will say, if you look at the things he said, if you've ever, growing up, especially just being a normal guy, like this is how guys operate when they joke with each other. So, like, obviously John Mateer isn't going to label, if he knows he's illegally gambling on sports gambling. It's a joke, just like the other stuff he said, which I can't say on the air. I do respect, though, the rivalry between Texas and Oklahoma, that a Texas person is willing to go so deep to look at those Venmo transactions. But if you go look at Arch Manning's, his is hilarious, too. The word "but" appears about 4 times. So, let's just get the season here. I'm sick of talking about this other stuff.
No kidding. Well, let's talk about one that's speaking of interesting social media. It's dominating the news cycle around here, and you may have seen some of it. But so Tennessee's got this player, Boo Carter, right? He held out for a little bit. I don't even know if it was a holdout, but one thing's for sure, he paid the price a little bit with Josh Heupel. He's back working out with the team. He's obviously a super talented player. It'd be great for us to, for Tennessee fans and for Tennessee as a football team to have him on the squad. But then his mother gets into the game on social media and is just like some of the stuff. It's not even suitable to say on air that she's putting on social media. And the long and short of it is they're basically saying, I'm getting my boy out of here once the season ends. That doesn't surprise us too much, but it's like, why do we even have to endure this? And it's just such a difference to me. And you can appreciate this, having been a coach and everything. We talked about the dichotomy between last week when Archie Manning went and talked with the media about Arch, who you were just referring to, saying this kid's going to play a couple of years of college football. He is not ready to go to the NFL. And that's what happens when you have a really strong circle of influence, right? These folks know what they're doing with their kids and their grandkids. It's obvious. And it's just a shame because you're seeing an example over with Boo Carter where, if I'm Boo, I'd be saying to my mom, put the phone down, please, man, because I'm already fighting enough. But you've probably seen this time and again, and it just seems like it's more amplified in this new era.
Yeah, I just don't know when Tennessee football turned into an episode of Love Island. At this point, I feel bad for Josh, to be honest with you, because I think he just caught a couple bad breaks. I don't know how you build a culture, honestly, today with NIL and the way that the space is in college athletics. But there just seems to be it's becoming a pattern a little bit. Now, look, two guys, it can happen. If it happens again, then if you're a Tennessee fan, I think you actually really start to worry that maybe something when we're evaluating these guys on the mental side or with who they have around them, are we bringing in the people that give us the best chance to be the most efficient and be the most together? So that's one thing. On the other hand, if I was Boo, I would have told my mom to be quiet a long, long time ago. And you're just making it worse. I mean, he goes out there and he doesn't play good. Now you're going to make it even worse. So it's just a train wreck right now, it seems. And Tennessee's been the brunt of two of them. And it puts Josh in a bad spot because you got to treat everybody the same. And if you're going to have a similar problem between guys and one thing happens to one guy and a different happens to another, then you may lose the locker room. That would be my biggest worry as a Tennessee fan is that if the leader starts kind of picking and choosing when to enforce what he says are unbreakable rules.
Big donation coming into Kansas athletics this morning with one of their donors giving $300 million to that athletic department. We've seen how much, the guys over at Texas Tech are doing and how they're quickly becoming competitive. Do you like seeing kind of some of these odd schools get an influx of money that maybe you are not exactly the kind of mainstream programs that you see spend at this level? Or do you think kind of the no guardrails type of stuff is going to become a slippery slope that just continues to get even worse over time?
Well, I mean, to the richest go the spoils. I mean, that's how it's going to be. That's how it is in a lot of businesses. I just wish I was in a position to give $300 million to anybody for anything. I mean, goodness gracious. Look, I love the team I root for, but I wouldn't give you $3 million, let alone $300 million. But again, look, it's created a new ecosystem, right? Never has there been a time where a head football coach should be more excited about entrepreneurs leaving that school and starting big businesses. I'd be rooting on those guys as hard as anybody to be able to get this influx of cash, and it's going to matter. I mean, money talks, the other stuff walks, especially in the NIL era. So, we've created this ecosystem because we didn't put guardrails on this thing when you put it out, and then you're surprised when the monster starts ripping villagers apart. It's just the world we live in now.
We're talking with Jake Crain of Crain and Company. Help us out on this because we've gone back and forth, and of course some of it is a byproduct of we're in a season where there's not a lot we can talk about or point to when it comes to college football. It's so close, but still so far in a lot of ways. And then it gets compounded here when our football program and coach doesn't let any access to the media happen to their practices. Yeah. But I digress. So the AP poll comes out a couple days ago, and we talked about this yesterday of how much do we really need to read into this, because my first reaction was kind of visceral. I was like, Tennessee 24, come on, man. But at the end of the day, you've got 10 teams from the SEC in there who are going to be playing each other in a lot of instances. I'm just curious about two questions. Your take on the poll, the validity or necessity of that poll in general right now before we play the games. And then second of all, we've seen it happen before where there's a team that comes in the preseason top 10 that ends up by the time the season ends, they're nowhere to be found on the poll. Do you see a team that might have that kind of slippage this year?
Look, when it comes to, this is like getting a match on Tinder. Like, unless you can close the deal, it doesn't mean anything. Like, it's just because there's contradictions all the time in the AP poll. There's contradictions in the actual rankings that we get when we're looking at who's going to make the playoffs. So, I don't put a lot of stock into it. It's just something. It's an appetizer before we get the meal. Preseason poll, you might as well go try and find the snuffleupagus, man. Like at this point with these preseason polls. So, if I had to pick a team that I saw that was in the top 10 that maybe I'm, not as psyched up for as everybody else, I'm a little more worried about LSU than other people are. They got to prove to me that they can run the ball. And, they lost Will Campbell. It was a struggle for him last year, and Ness isn't built to not have a run game with his skill set. So LSU, I'm a little bit down on compared to others, but I'd much rather go out and get the weed whacker and make my front lawn look good than look at anything the AP poll has to tell me.
Jake, I want to get your thoughts on kind of some preseason quarterback performances, because you saw the Browns give Shedeur Sanders, really kind of an extended amount of time to be able to really kind of get that first taste of real game action. And then you saw Cam Ward and the Titans, and he only kind of gets 2 series, and I think that a large part due in part to just keeping that starting offensive line out there for Cam Ward and not exactly just putting backups and third string guys in front of him to risk injury there. Do you like seeing just a couple series from a guy like Ward, or would you like to kind of see him get his feet wet a little bit more with some extended time?
I look, there's so many different ways to skin a cat when it comes to quarterbacks in the preseason. I mean, you look at Joe Burrow, for example. Now he's actually playing during the preseason. It's going to be different for every organization and different for every guy. But if it was me, I'd get him in there for a couple series. I wouldn't have him in there for too long, especially with him being the face now of the franchise here in Nashville. So I don't mind it. But again, you're going to figure this out. Maybe he's a guy that does need more reps in the preseason to get ready. But you've got to try different things in different years to figure it out. Maybe this is just right. I mean, it's like Goldilocks porridge. Some's too hot, some's too cold, but some is just right. So I think what they're doing right now is the smart thing.
We just I wanted to see if this is going to be on your watch list. This documentary that's going to come out, it starts next week on Netflix about Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. You familiar with this?
A little bit. I mean, he was great in Landman.
Yes, he was. Well, now the one thing I'm hearing from some other people who have had a chance to pre-screen it sounds like it's going to be fascinating because it chronicles. It's not just, the Chiefs have one coming out this week that I think is more of a follow doc, like in the current state of the team, which those are fun for a minute, but it gets a little old. There's the whole story of how Jerry came in, took over the Cowboys. There was a bit of, there was definitely some drama in the early days on all of that. And now it comes out that Jerry comes clean and says he was battling stage 4 cancer. I mean, this feels like there's a lot of stories that are going to come out of this. Yeah. Is this one you would be spending some of your time to watch?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's obviously the Cowboys are a fascinating franchise, and Jerry Jones is the face of that franchise, good, bad, or indifferent. So yeah, I'm going to check it out. Again, he's a guy that was very successful in business. We can say what we want about him in the NFL and what he's done with the Cowboys, but obviously he's figured out something. So yeah, he's an intriguing character to me, and especially I want to see kind of if there's any update on this Micah Parsons situation that's going on as well. So yeah, man, I'll always watch something Cowboys related. That's the Southern footballer in me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was talking about earlier. I was younger when they were so dominant in the 90s, but I found myself kind of hating them just because they were so good, and I'm not a Cowboys fan, but now I look back at it and it's like that was a pretty special moment in time for that franchise. So I'm sure they're gonna tease that one out.
For sure.
Okay, last one for today. When are you guys getting Taylor Swift on your podcast, man? Your show?
Never, and I couldn't be prouder to say that. Look, she's famous. She's super rich. I mean, if she asked to come on the podcast, we'd probably let her on. But I'm not going to go out there. If I want to go get a white girl superstar singer, she ain't on the top of the list.
Yeah, it seems to me like
I'll always let Shakira come on, though.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like they're spending a lot of time and effort touting that this will be the most watched sports podcast ever. And
if it is just that alien they say is flying around Jupiter, just bring him on.
Yeah,
just bring come on, blow this thing up. We don't deserve it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it just sounds to me like you guys might need more shock collar episodes.
No, that's not happening again. Now, if we got Taylor Swift with the shock collar, now we're talking about some big business.
Jake, the UFC and Paramount deal that went final earlier this week, I want to kind of get your thoughts on that. I know that, I feel like I've seen you tweet about some stuff UFC related and stuff like that, but how much more of a crowd do you think that's going to kind of bring in rather than, kind of phasing out that pay-per-view model that's a little bit antiquated now?
Oh, well, as somebody who already has a subscription to Paramount Plus, I'm super excited about it. As far as the revenue difference, I don't think Dana makes stupid moves. So obviously he sees a lot of value in doing this. It's kind of an evolution, a change. Look, I grew up in the era of, hey, let's buy the pay-per-view and watch it together, or let's go to Buffalo Wild Wings or somewhere. But Dana doesn't make bad moves. So obviously he feels like this is advantageous. And like I said, as somebody who's already subscribed to Paramount Plus, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, you're one of you're right. Dana sees the scale. There's already 44 million Paramount subscribers, and they'll get more this way. They might have to charge a little more, but I bet you people will buy into it. I think it was a smart move. And Paramount, under this new ownership, man, they're not messing around. They're
making some good moves too.
Yeah,
they're making some good moves.
Definitely. Hey, listen, man, as always, appreciate you hopping on, spending some time with us. Let the listener know what you got going on with Crain and Company coming up.
Look, it's college football. If you love it, just head on over to CRAIN and Company. We're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that stuff. Got a big Tennessee season prediction episode coming out here in the next couple of days. So lock in and lock up. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Somebody's got to carry the boat.
That's it. That's it, man. Hey, buddy.
All right, boys.
Thank you again. Have a great day. Have a good show. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Thank y'all.
See you, Jake.
See you, Jake. Yeah, I was thinking about the economics of that, Sam. I'm glad you asked that question because, again, numbers don't lie. There's already, like Jake, like me, I'm a subscriber to Paramount Plus already. All those guys are baked in. I pay for it once a year, so you don't even think about.
You do the yearly subscription?
Yeah, it's in my it's like a direct bill to my Apple account or whatever, and every time it happens, I'm like, damn, man, I should be thinking about, do I want to keep that? But then I just move on. And
I was talking to John about it. He's not excited because he knows it's just the price is going to get jacked up.
It's going up. Yeah, there's no doubt. But
be nice if you could get grandfathered in for a year maybe or something like that. And then you start paying the full price or something. I know that's probably a lot more difficult to kind of orchestrate. A lot easier said than done, I guess.
I'll tell you what, in this day and age, we've been talking about it this week, the whole thing that's happening with ESPN and Fox partnering up, and now Paramount. It is no joke, man. Their new owners are very bullish on sporting events and sports rights. They're going to go after a lot, and I think it's going to become kind of a necessary evil. I just think it's going to happen for people. And I'm not even that big of a UFC fan, but now I'm kind of intrigued by it because I'm like what Jake was saying. I'm not a big pay-per-view guy, never have been.
Mm-hmm.
So now I might be interested in it because I'm already paying for it. So time will tell. Time will tell.
I'm fired up about it.
Yeah. Garrett, are you a UFC fan or no?
I'll watch them sometimes. A lot of my buddies are into it. So, if they pay for it, I'll watch it, if we're together.
Yeah.
But unless, I'm not paying for a Friday night pay-per-view.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's fine. I just never really grew up watching it that much.
If it's available to you now and you're already subscribed.
Yeah, it may be something I watch, but it's not something I'm going out of my way to do.
Yeah. All right, let's hit a break. Got one more segment to go before we wrap up this Wednesday edition of the show and hand things over to Chase with Chase Thomas at 1 p.m. Stick around. When we return, we'll have more Fan Run Radio, more Under Review, maybe a little Not For Nothing to talk about, and other things. By the way, B.S. Osborne on the chat credits Animal House for the quote, "Fat, dumb, and stupid is no way to go through life, son." Good call. Good pull. We needed that. All right, quick timeout. We'll be right back. It's Under Review on Fan Run Radio.
You're locked onto Fan Run Radio, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and online at fanrunradio.com.
Yeehaw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine. Live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-8899-789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires. Just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Barley's has live music on weekends, general team trivia on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., and now live sports trivia courtesy of the Knoxville Trivia Guys every Thursday night upstairs. The game starts at 7 p.m. and is free to play for everyone, so head on down to the Old City and show off your sports knowledge and win gift cards to Barley's. Use those gift cards to buy some delicious food and drinks, and you can take it all in with their wide selection of TVs and indoor projectors. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
In the Smoky Mountain Sun, WKTN. In the Smoky Mountain Sun, in the Smoky Mountain Sun.
Put out there, whatever you put out there.
Appreciate our guests coming on today, Ryan Sylvia with Rocky Top Insider and Jake Crain, who just joined us from Crain and Company.
That was very, very elegant right there, Bob. Welcome back. It felt like Jim Nantz coming in on like a Sunday afternoon at the Masters to me. Welcome back, folks.
Converging on the final segment of Under Review, sizing up the content and the topics.
The sun setting on today's show.
That's a good one. Sun setting on today's show.
Except the sun's just at its peak right now.
Wrapping things up in the midst of a rainy monsoon.
Mm-hmm.
West Knoxville.
I feel like David Attenborough.
Yeah, exactly. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Got a few not for nothings here, and these are things just as a refresher for folks. Anybody can join in here, but these are things not for nothing is kind of like, hey, we're stating the obvious, but come on, man. It's usually kind of more in the come on, man thing. And I got a few of them, and there are ones that we have talked about, right? The first one, Mama Boo. Did you hear what Russell was calling it? He was calling it Boo Carter Mama Drama, which I thought was good. I like that. But again, we said this earlier in the show. I think when Joshy called, or girl, put the phone down, man. That you are costing your son and you, because that's where a lot of that money probably flows. You're costing him money, because soon enough there's going to be somebody that's going to say, "I'm calling it, man." I just think, I mean, she's already talking about how great Colorado is, so it seems fait accompli that they're going to end up in Boulder after this season. That's what it sounds like, at least. So, and that's fine. Just quit talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. And again, what baffles my mind is her son saying anything to her, or is he saying something to her and she just doesn't care?
We may never know.
Yeah, you probably have to keep your mom in check like this from time to time, right, Sam?
All the time.
All the time. It's kind of sad, but Boo Carter's mom, Mama Boo, put that phone down.
I like that, Russell. Boo Carter Mama Drama.
Yes. Here we go again with Aaron Rodgers, by the way. Aaron Rodgers, not for nothing. He's complaining about the helmet size.
He likes that old school helmet.
Yep. Said that it feels like he's got a spaceship on his head or whatever. It's like, man, just show some gratitude. I mean, you're playing on a storied franchise, probably not going to a Super Bowl again, but you got a chance to go out, end your career on a positive note. It just feels like he's always got something that he's got to be outspoken about. Always.
I saw that calf's already wrapped up.
Is it really?
Already got to ice it. Not good.
Nice.
Get him into the immortal chamber.
Yeah. Sam, I'll let you take this one. You started on it yesterday. You probably have, I think you've got enough. I think you got a couple, but Shohei Ohtani, take it away.
Shohei Ohtani, yeah, karma coming back to him, hitting into a triple play last night. But yes, Probably needs to maybe find some new business / gambling partners. It does kind of, after reading a little bit more into it, it does kind of seem like this was the habit. Like, I mean, I was joking a lot yesterday, but it does seem like it's more a guy like kind of approached him, and he was like, this other guy was kind of the real main developer and was kind of pulling the strings and wanting to choose who gets involved in the real estate development and everything like that. And then I think they were kind of using Shohei maybe as kind of an attraction, maybe to get some more tourists kind of coming in there into Hawaii, as it's, I'm sure there's some Japanese people that probably go and vacation in Hawaii or something like that.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, we'll get the biggest Japanese star we can think of with Shohei Ohtani and we'll rope him in here. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like he's surrounding himself with maybe some of the best people. But yeah, I mean, Shohei's just he's gonna be innocent the entire time, Bob.
I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think he's
like saying it.
He's surrounded himself with some bad people. That's again, he may not know that. These guys probably come off a little more polished than Mama Boo or somebody. But,
it just makes me laugh knowing that like one of the greatest baseball players that we've ever seen, just from a talent perspective, two ways and what he's doing, like he's just getting wrapped up into this stuff. It's a funny alter ego for me to kind of think of him being just like this very polished, polite superstar on the outside. And then when he gets home, he's just like a degenerate gambler.
Yeah.
And, getting on the phone with some real estate developer being like, this isn't good enough. We need to get this guy fired.
Wears some sort of like evil samurai
outfit
or something,
He's chain smoking cigs every night.
Yeah.
Speaking of gambling, did you see that Michael Porter Jr. quote about gambling?
Yes.
No, I didn't.
One of the funniest clips.
Yeah, he says, of course, his brother's in jail for legal gambling. He says, think about it. If you can get all your homies rich by telling them bet $10K on my under this one game, I'm going to act like I got an injury, and they all get a little bag. Some people come from nothing and they think like that.
He also said like everyone's got their vices. He's like, mine's women, and he's like, but his was gambling.
Jesus.
And then basically
they are on his radar.
Are you familiar with like Jeff Teague's podcast?
Yes.
Yeah,
those
they're
guys
hilarious.
were having an absolute time with that quote, and like his running mate B-Hen was just God. I mean, you got to find the clip. It is hysterical though. Basically, he was like, he's saying that his brother never got girls.
That's a great poll. That's a great one to fall into. Not for nothing. It's like, again, man,
that's
check
how I thought of it.
What is up with people's lack of awareness on some of the stuff they're saying right now? It's incredible.
Makes you think he's already done it.
Yeah.
How many games has he missed in his career?
Yeah. It's like Sam just said, the NBA and the FBI and everybody else is like,
Brother's going to have a roommate here soon if he's not careful.
Let's dox this guy. Let's see what's up.
Lord.
Unbelievable. All right, fellas. Good show today. Sam, great work by you. Appreciate it. Brett, appreciate your help as always. Garrett, thank you for coming in today and helping, and we'll see you again tomorrow. And you, the listener, appreciate you spending time with us. As always, a lot of good interaction today. Really appreciate that. Keep it locked in on Fan Run Radio. The local programming continues with The Chase coming up at 1 o'clock with Chase Thomas, followed by The Drive with Russell Smith at 3 p.m. Big announcement happening during The Drive for a certain shoe company. Can't wait. And then The Slate and Overtime starting at 6 p.m. with William Pattison. We'll be back here tomorrow. Until then, I hope you have a great, great day and evening. We'll see you then.